Hey, welcome everybody. This is Steve on the Great Debate Community channel. Not Thaddeus tonight, and not Richard. It's actually me. Yes, me. I know I don't get on this channel much as I should, but I thought I would tonight because it's late night, and I didn't really want to start a hangout on my main channel tonight. So we're going to kind of have a hangout on this particular channel tonight. People can come over. I put the link in the Great Debate Community, and we'll just see what happens. But I got Brenden in here. Brenden. Somebody I met the other day. I think he's Army, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And Army, okay. And you were having a little discussion with Eric Wolfbitn Jewell, right?
Yeah.
And I was
This guy.
yeah, we've ran into Eric before. This is not our first altercation with him. And I mean, you were not making some great arguments, but I got a hold of you and asked if you really wanted to learn a better way to say some of the stuff. You were more than receptive. I was like, hey, Jesus, thank you. Here's a guy that actually, wants to be, better at his arguments. And I think I liked you, right? So I was like, okay. And we started talking. And long story short, we ended up on Eric Wolfbitn Jewell's show tonight, or hangout. I have no words.
It was an experience.
I you know what? Say something, because I'm serious. I can't say anything. This guy's just so stupid.
It was the equivalent of whenever you talk to your 5-year-old nephew, and this kid asks a question, and in the middle of you trying to answer that question, he just says why, and then that is the incessant repetition throughout your answers. Why? Well, because of this. Why? Well, because of this. Why? Except instead of why, it was more like, well, you're wrong, and here's why. And it was consistently aggravating to spectate, at the very least.
Okay. Hey, Cyborg. Yeah, he what he wanted to do was he wanted to have me address some topic that he wanted to debate people on, that I posted in the GDC, and the topic was just crap. I mean, it was just I do this a lot. I know a good topic from a bad topic. His topics were shit. And I was like, okay, I'll just kind of discuss with you why it's a bad topic, and maybe kind of tell you how easily it's defeated, which led into the whole theological and cognitivist thing. Now, clearly, or at least let me ask you, do you think he knew what that meant?
No, not at all. Essentially, what he was trying to do was he was trying to lump all of the different or not aspects, but perspectives on religion. He's trying to lump them all between atheism, theism, and agnosticism, regardless of what their outlooks actually are. So, like right at the end there, I asked him where would he put pantheism, and he couldn't give a straight answer. But I think he tried to lean more towards theism.
Right, and here's the thing. I wanted to show, and I'll show it here in a second. Here, under non-theism in Wikipedia, guess what it shows under non-theism?
I'd assume that'd be pantheism. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to show that, but did he allow me to show anything or explain anything that I was showing?
Oh no, because in order for you to show something, you actually have to be talking at the same time that they're not.
And that was a little difficult with him.
And letting smart people talk ruins your argument.
Well, it's one of those things where, look, could easily explain to him his issues, but instead of listening to what I have to say, he basically just reiterated that, oh, well, you agreed with me last night. And I said, look, I agree with most of what you're saying. What's that?
He doesn't want an answer. He wants to give some magical answers.
Well, that's what it is. He wants to play this game of gotcha rather than having a dialogue, have an interlocutory with each other. And I'm like, look, if you're going to invite me on, have a discussion. You don't have to agree with me, but don't play this game that, oh, you're not answering the question. You don't know about this topic. Okay, you know what? I run a pretty decent sized community. I know I have a lot of members, right? I don't know anybody who says, yeah, Steve's completely out to lunch on these topics. And if they did, I would like to know why. So I think that I have a pretty good understanding of some of these topics. He doesn't. I mean, let me run to one of you guys here. So let me ask you, Cyborg. Do you know what methodological naturalism is?
I could probably figure it out from breaking down the words.
What do you think it might mean?
Believing that mythological stuff lives.
No. Methodological naturalism is approach to science.
Oh,
Barney, do you want
Not
methodological naturalism?
mythological, methodological.
Methodological. Do you know? Okay,
yeah,
Barney.
I'll listen to you explain it though.
Sure, Barney, can you explain it to us?
Nope.
Yes, you do.
You were watching the. Were you not watching?
I know you know what this means, Barney.
I know what naturalism is. I don't know what methodological
Oh, okay.
naturalism
Really?
is.
Okay, I'm surprised. Okay, fair enough. Methodological naturalism is a approach that science takes that it can only find naturalistic explanations to natural phenomena. In other words, we cannot propose supernatural explanations for things we observe. It's a methodological approach, meaning that there's no method we can say, hey, here's lightning, it must be from a god. That would be outside the purview of methodological naturalism.
Yay,
Basically, the
that's
opposite of
mine
religion.
and Carrie's stance.
Yeah, well, that's science. I mean, that's
So science is the opposite of religion. Okay, cool.
Anyways, he wasn't quite getting that though. See, even though you didn't know what it was after I explained it, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
All right,
that,
you're
that would
already
explain a lot.
You're literally already one up on Eric because Eric doesn't understand this concept at all. He thinks you can apply science to God. And so his question, which was, what is more scientific, atheism, agnosticism, or theism, is a malformed question to me.
Yes.
And this is why nobody's taken him up on it. Even,
Yeah,
I mean,
it
Brenden,
doesn't make a
you
whole
get
lot
what
of
it's
sense.
about.
Yeah, no,
It
I get
does.
entirely what you're saying.
He
It
didn't
doesn't make
understand
sense to
that.
offer. No, just that question didn't make sense at all. I don't remember exactly how it was worded, but it had a bunch of inconsistencies within it that didn't make any sense.
Right.
But it makes perfect sense from the caliber of theist that he has shown to be. So, like you presuppose that there is a God, you start with the conclusion and then find evidence for it. He presupposed that he had won the debate. He had the conclusion, and then he just brought you in to see it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. He presupposed he already won the discussion rather than listening to what the alternate side had to say. Now, I had the same thing happen today earlier with Nephilim Free, if you guys didn't notice.
I was gonna say I don't actually know who that is, but I will look them up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no,
I don't know who Nephi is.
You don't know who Nephi is? Oh my God, you're in for a treat, my friend.
Oh, sounds like fun.
Yeah, let me do my famous beard stroking here. Can you see this? Yeah, this is me, by the way, the old wise one. Yeah, Nephilim Free. Was this what you pictured, by the way?
No, not at all.
Hang on. Actually, I have a long hair hippie.
Oh shit! It's ancient Jesus.
But anyways, okay, so
Jesus McRae.
Jesus, that's the gun I'm going for. I figure I might as well start my own religion at someday, right? So Nephilim Free has been around a very long time, since probably the mid 2000s, and he is the one that kind of came up with this whole lunar Bukkake theory. That, well, I don't think it was actually his. I think he just promoted it. But basically, that the fountains of the deep broke open, and water spewed from the earth, went into outer space, froze, and struck the moon, causing the craters on the moon.
All right. Well, that's certainly a single theory.
Well, I mean, if they believe that in 40 days enough water could fall to cover the earth, and I guess by the same logic, water could somehow shoot up from the earth that fast.
It would never go higher than 26 miles above the earth, and it certainly would never reach the moon. Okay.
Yeah, it's not propelled by any means.
Yeah, but I'm saying by their logic, which is not logic, but by their logic, yeah.
Well, by bad physics is what it is. I mean, Nephi tried to salvage this by throwing in this whole nozzle. Oh, well, these mountains acted as a nozzle. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and they popped up a cork which hit the moon and created the crater.
I don't think any of the dust from Pompeii got close to the moon. I'm sorry.
I just reading the outside chat. Nephi is a dumb fuck piece of shit. I don't know any other way to describe that. That's pretty well.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Sounds about like it.
But here's the thing. Yeah, the link is at the. Go get it from the. You know what? I'll just put the link. People are asking for the link. You can get the link. One sec. So he wanted to know. He still thinks that the human chromosome number 2 fusion site is not a fusion, and so he asked me again. He'll, Steve, I don't know how to get online. Can you help me out? Sure. So I showed him how to get online again, and he didn't let me or Ruhif talk. I mean, he just doesn't. About explaining to him why human chromosome number 2 is a fusion site. Now, again, if somebody bloviates to the point where they're inviting you into their hangouts and you have an argument and they won't let you discuss their argument, then why bother? Like, this is what I'm going to turn over to Brenden right now, because Brenden is my guest. I want him to give some of his argumentations, because we kind of didn't see eye to eye on things, and I wanted to kind of hoping that he had some more questions to ask.
Okay, so are we talking about like the original argument that I was posing to Eric last night, or actually it was the argument that he wanted to talk about? Anyway, so his proposition originally was that the term agnostic atheist could not exist, and until yesterday, that is like what I prescribed to. That is what I define myself as, because the way that I looked at it was, an atheist is someone who lacks a belief in a deity, and an agnostic is someone who does not know that, or does not know whether or not a God exists. So by definition, by that definition at least, I could say, I don't believe in a God, and the reason that I don't believe in a God is because I don't know that one can exist.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just kind of my colloquial definition based on experience. I hadn't actually gone and looked through finding philosophical definitions of anything. That was just how I had come to understand it based on experiences that I've had.
And that's what I was saying. I was kind of agreeing with Eric, but Eric thinks that if you agree with him on 1 or 2 points or a little bit, you agree with him on
you agree on everything. Yeah.
Right. And that clearly, as you saw tonight, that's not the case,
no,
right?
No, not at all.
Okay. So I'm not playing two sides of the fence. I'm very consistent. I wanted to help you out. And did I not even tell you I was willing to help him out with his argumentation as well?
Oh, yeah, totally.
His argumentation is crap on certain things. But all right, so you've discovered now that, as Matt Delahunty has, that agnostic atheist, as in terms of soft atheism, really doesn't make any sense, right?
Yes. So could you actually go into a little bit on why?
Sure. Why
that is? Because I see the other point to where, in reference to hard atheism, it's redundant. I can understand why that is. That makes sense.
Let's reiterate that for everybody, though. The reason why it's redundant is because hard atheism purports that God does not exist, right? I believe God does not exist. And so that's a belief claim. There's no reason to put an epistemic modifier on it for knowledge. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't change anything. At the very most, and I think Apologia, makes a good case for this. Apologia has said, well, at the very most, it tells somebody that they're not a Gnostic atheist. Okay, minor thing there, but you know what? I don't know too many Gnostic atheists, if you want to use Gnostic that way, which I don't like using that way, because Gnosticism is actually a form of mysticism. But it's basically saying, I believe God does not exist, but I don't know that. But it's inherent in hard atheism, anyways. So we all agree that's redundant. Okay. The reason why in soft atheism it's nonsensical, if you think about it, a soft atheist is not making a dosastic claim. They're just saying, I lack a belief. Well, how do you modify a lack of belief? What are you modifying? That you just not sure you lack a belief or not?
It's mostly that
agnostic soft atheist.
They just don't care mostly.
Well, no, not caring.
Not caring. I know that I lack a belief.
Yeah, I know I lack. Well, no, it'd be I don't know if I lack a belief or not. Well, I think most people know if they lack a belief or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm agnostic. I know I lack a belief, but that doesn't mean I'm an atheist according to the philosophy. So that's why they were saying, look, if you're not making a dosastic claim, you can't modify it epistemically with a knowledge modifier. That's why that whole agnostic atheism doesn't make sense. Eric. Okay, here's the thing, Brenden. Eric is one of those people that has the right outcome for the wrong reasons.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and that's just as bad to me. Yeah,
because the way that I saw that the way that his definitions were was he was trying to use strictly philosophical definitions, and I'm thinking that's what he was doing. Was he was taking the hard atheist definition, and he was applying that to all atheists, and those were the definitions that he was willing to use without consideration that there could possibly be any other definition.
Yeah, which was kind of strange because he would go to a colloquial definition for agnosticism.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't. But the colloquial definition for atheism is lack of belief. It's like he was very sporadic in what he would use as a definitional thing. And I kept telling him, look, if you're going to use philosophical terminology, why not use a philosophical source? And when I tried showing him the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, what happened?
Oh, he blew you off. He said, fuck that.
Yeah. I mean, he's trying to control the narrative rather than let the people see. On my channel, I have a live chat. I have people I answer to. If I'm wrong, one of these fuckers is going to tell me that I'm wrong. I guarantee it, especially Barney. He's always on my ass. So
I'm always on everybody's ass.
fair enough.
Yeah.
They keep us honest,
But
right?
politely.
Yeah, no, dude, don't change. Seriously, don't change. Because when you're
can all
wrong,
use it.
if you're wrong, it's nice. But no, we keep each other honest here. He can never handle anything like that.
Oh no, he was feeding his echo chamber. That's all he was doing. Like
Oh,
his
did you
entire audience
catch
base.
Did you catch his echo?
What audience base? There was just me and Steve watching the stream.
How did
Watching
you
the
find
live
out
stream,
about it?
yes, but he has, I think, upwards of like 3,000 YouTube subscribers.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I
he
mean by echo chamber.
Yeah, he doesn't have many people watching.
How did I come in?
Yeah, how'd you?
I read your post on G Plus and clicked to see the 1 minute proof. And when I started watching that, it popped out that there's a live stream from the guy.
You got it just in time. Okay.
And I clicked on it and you were there. Oh, this is going on. Okay, cool.
Okay, fair enough. So anyway, Brenden, this whole kickback from this whole agnostic atheism, this whole atheism thing, it's pretty strong. Now, a lot of atheists in the great debate community have I like to say seen the light. They understand why there's a better way to go about it, and I think, and again, I'm not telling atheists what to do, but I believe very strongly that if more atheists adopted the hard atheist approach, it would have better argumentation, and that's why I like to see. I see better arguments, because the only reason why they want atheists to be anyone that's lacking in belief is for political reasons, not philosophical reasons. And I understand that, right? I do get that.
I get that.
Yeah, no, there's a legit argument to be made for that, but at the same time, I don't want us to assume agnosticism or atheism only because it's politically expedient to do so. And in the long run, I think it has a negative effect. I think that they're looking at this too short term politically, because if the atheists can get the agnostics as on their side and everybody else that falls into something other than atheism, that's not theism, they could get them to vote their way. They don't have to assume them in some kind of identity politics. You just want their vote.
Yes, I can see that. That makes a lot of sense.
The argument between Aaron Ra and what's his name, Ozzy.
Yeah, well, I've had this discussion with Aaron as well. You know, I love Aaron, but Aaron,
No. He would just like to proclaim everybody an atheist. Fuck you, I'm not an atheist. I agree with you, but I'm not an atheist. Well, and I wasn't.
But that's the discussion I had on Godless Engineers channel, right? With Holy Kool-Aid and Apologia, and I set the original Logic's wife. The whole point of that was basically saying, look, I agree with you guys on most everything. I mean, I believe in secularism. I believe in a strong separation of church and state. I don't want to see religion taught in schools. I believe, obviously, that evolution needs to be taught ubiquitously. I believe creationism, is shit. Okay? These are things we all have in common. So I'm an ally. Would I care to choose to define myself? That's none of their concern.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot define me for your purposes.
Right.
You can call me an atheist. Well, I am an atheist, but at that point, you could have called me an atheist as much as you could have called me a theist. I was neither.
Well, what do you align with now?
I'm an atheist. I straight out
You're a hard
don't
atheist.
believe.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're a hard atheist, though, right? You believe God's.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Go ahead.
I'm a naturalist. There is nothing supernatural in the universe. There is nothing mystical in the universe.
If you're a naturalist and a hardline naturalist, and you're what's called a reductive physicalist, it's kind of axiomatic that you're going to be an atheist. I don't know how you could be a naturalist theist. I mean, there is called natural theism, but I think it's bogus, right? Now my back is better. Thank you. Thank you. My back feels better. It's not great, but it's much better. Sorry, I pay attention to my viewers. I love them.
Yay!
Love you all.
It's because it's late at night and there's like 6 of them.
No, it's only 15, but I'm on my alt channel too, and this is. I like.
Look at them Jew girls.
It's okay. I like a small little group every so often. We don't have to have 100 people watching or whatever. It's just it's a little out of the way hangout.
5 minutes in a soda can away from going to bed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I was going to go to bed until Eric talked me into this bullshit.
Yeah, no, he likes to talk a lot of game on Facebook, just in the debate group. I don't know if he's in multiple, but I know he's in at least one. And what he likes to do is he likes to go in and play the tough guy and go up and say, "You're wrong." And when the other person says, "You're wrong," he says, "Oh, really? Fight me, bro. Live chat me right now." And then he goes in and tosses them on his channel. And again, is just feeding his tiny echo.
I knew that was going to happen. By the way, I'm not.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not surprised at all.
But I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I was like, "Why the hell not?" I'll do the one time. I did do it earlier with Nephi today. You got to try every so often. Maybe somebody will. Hopefully, one of these days change from their. I mean,
what confuses me is that for some reason all the time, like Christians and stuff will just go into atheist groups almost explicitly to get pissed at them.
Well, they troll, and I don't mean troll like I'm going to be a troll to pretend I'm something I'm not. They fish, right? They like, okay, who can I poke?
I used to do that too when I was a Christian.
I do it to flat earthers every so often. Not going to lie, I'm not going to play this. Oh, I'm better than that game. I've done it. Roman Coke night, right? But we enjoy that, don't we?
Yeah, but flat earthers are different.
Why? They're people too, sort of.
They're about as much as people as the Earth is flat.
Brenden, have you seen our Roman Coke nights?
Roman Coke? Nope, not yet.
Oh God.
Oh, it sounds like a blast though.
Oh God, we have. That's like my most popular stuff anymore. It seems people want to see me get drunk and fuck with flat earthers. I don't know why.
It sounds so entertaining for some reason. I'm really curious. I'm just so entertained by the thought that there are people in this universe that still believe that the Earth is flat.
I mean, that's aliens came to Earth.
Like their justification. What the hell could make you possibly say that's true?
I think
that question is the only reason why I'm here, trying to figure that out.
Or
Barney,
Brenden, listen.
Sure.
The true answer to your question is it's a mental disability. Right?
It is.
They can't help it.
Okay, so
it's
their mother's fault for drinking. Okay?
Some of them I think do have mental disabilities. But like Barney, like the other night when that one guy told me that he had a mental problem, I mean, I stopped it like 10 minutes later. Because he said, I noticed. I don't know if you stuck around to the end, but he actually said something like his daughter, and she said, "No, it's 9:30. Your daughter." And I was like, "Look, this needs to stop." And I put it into it because I don't even want to talk about the science, right? So I do have some compassion. I don't want to.
I checked back later to see what happened, but
it was fine. It was fine. I know what I got.
When he said he was diagnosed and that his psychiatrist said that he was delusional, at that point for me it was okay. I cannot watch this.
Right, and I understand it, but I trust me. I had it covered, and I directed it. And by the way, last Roman Coconut, we didn't screw with flat earthers. We actually talked about ufology, and my roommate. Which was fun. It's actually a really good hangout. He's working on a series with the History Channel for UFOs. He used to do casting. What do they call them? He used to be a caster. Who casted stuff, and he was a director and writer and some other stuff. In fact, he actually directed a movie with Soleil Moon Frye, and I'm like, oh, so try to get her on one of these days. He's actually talking to her husband like in a few weeks. So I was like, hey, bring her on. Hey, we'll have an 80s show, right? She's like, Punky Brewster. No, you guys are too old. Whatever. Anyways, but
no, aliens. Maybe someday when I get sick of theism and flat Earth and politics, I'll look up aliens. But right now, I'm just not interested. It's the same bullshit, but it's somehow more so.
If aliens,
it's more of a bullshit with less of a background.
You really want to try something? Try getting into Electric Universe nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh God.
No.
They're just weird, dude. They don't even know their own arguments. I had Dr. Antoine Brett, who's a PhD in plasma physics. He actually went into one of their groups, and he didn't know what the hell they were talking about. He's like, they don't even know what the hell they're even trying to argue. That's how bad it was. So
yeah, but it's the same thing with flat earthers.
Same thing with women who defend the Bible. They don't know what they're defending.
Yeah. There's a lot of
defend the Quran.
With the Bible, there are a lot of people who know what they're defending, and they're still forced to defend it, and are trying really, really hard in 6 million different ways to defend it.
Well, we didn't even get into the arguments. I mean, he wanted to talk about, our atheism. He basically wants to talk, Eric wanted to talk about if atheism is illogical or something. And we didn't even get into the arguments, which he wouldn't understand. I don't think he understands problem evil or divine hiddenness or anything relating to an argument for atheism, because there are some decent arguments for atheism, mostly local atheism towards one God, like an omni-God. But he doesn't know these things. He doesn't know enough what he doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think that he quite understood the fact that if you're going to try to assert that something is illogical, you have to prove that stance is illogical. You can't just
That's
simply
not surprising. That's not surprising for any of them. Like if they could reason in that way, if they understood logic and could apply logic, then they would see that they're wrong.
But that's not the case.
Yeah, their core beliefs prevent them from going there. Literally. I don't even think that they're dishonest. I don't think that they're lying. I don't think that they're unwilling to learn. It's just that, like, if somebody was trying to explain to you that you don't exist, when you got close to that understanding, you would back away. Right? It's
Makes
like
sense.
that for them. Their core belief is that God exists. That's what needs to be defended.
Yeah, and that's a problem with some cases, right? Because some people won't change their position, even if their position is deemed to be irrational or logical, right?
Yeah,
that's
but
strange to me.
From my point, I really do think that we have the responsibility as the more reasonable ones, as the more the more capable to communicate ones, to, if we have to, forgo logic and try to communicate with them in their own language, in their own terms, so that they can hear us. If you go with hard logic, if you go with evidence, there is no way they can hear you. They will just get so shell-shocked that they will put their fingers in their ears and go, la 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 la, no, you're wrong, you're lying.
Well, right? You got to be real careful with this term evidence, especially when you're talking about empirical, right? I mean, you don't want to come across as a logical positivist that, or just says that, look it.
No. I understand.
Because I think there's a lot of ways to have evidence that's not empirical.
No. So I agree with them on the terms that there's bundles of evidence that God exists. There's a universe of evidence that God exists. All you have to do for it to be evidence that God exists is assume that God exists.
That's
and then
circular.
No, I know it is. That's what I'm saying.
That's like the definition begging the question.
Yes, I know, but people keep calling them out that they're being dishonest for using circular reasoning and for begging the question. But That's the only way they can think about it. From their perspective, that's the only logical. That's not being dishonest. That's being reasonable.
I think
right?
what happened. Well, hang on. Well, first of all, circular. The reality is all these things can boil down to one of three things: pains of circularity, axiomatic assumption, or infinite regress. Right? I mean, that's the Munchausen trilemma. So I don't know any other thing that it can really boil down to. I understand that. I don't really got a problem with circular reasoning at that point. That'd be virtuous circular or whatever. I just happen to take the axiomatic, which again has its own issues. But like who was it the other day? Yeah, they didn't understand that. The guy that I was talking about the other day. No, was it him? I don't remember. But they didn't understand what a brute fact is, right? And if I take something as a brute fact, I'm just taking it as a properly basic belief, an axiomatic assumption that's just not justified without using some kind of inferential terms. And so if I just say, hey, I build my foundation from this, I can't show you that the universe is real. I can't prove it to you. But I take it axiomatically that it exists. I'm okay with that. You don't have to accept that.
So your properly basic belief is something along the lines of I have senses, right?
It's a little bit more intricate than that, I think, though, because just having senses would be, empiricism, right? But I think
I'm giving an example. What I'm trying to say is their properly basic belief is God created everything.
Which is not properly basic.
No. For them, it is. That's the axiom that they're setting as properly basic, and they cannot justify it by anything other than circular reasoning.
Here's why it's not, though. But it's not. No, they can say that it is. Plantinga doesn't even think it's properly basic. I think he calls it properly basic.
Steve. Make the difference between me saying this is what I think how their brains work and me saying this is so.
Sure.
Right? I know that it's not a properly basic belief.
Yeah. The reason, though.
It's not for me.
But do you know why it's not a properly basic belief has to be something that everybody, there's actually 6 different things that give or take, maybe 7, that constitute a properly basic belief. I don't have them memorized.
Yeah.
But one of the main ones is basically that it has to apply ubiquitously to everybody. I can function without having a properly basic belief that God exists or not. You cannot function without having the acceptance of reality. That's something that you just cannot function, right? So that's something that applies to everybody.
Yeah, so now take into account G-Man when he comes and says every atheist believes in God and everybody believes in God and they're just being dishonest and lying.
He's an idiot.
Right?
He's an idiot.
No. That's a properly basic belief for him.
It's not a proper.
It is impossible. Everybody agrees that there is a God and the atheists are just lying.
It is not a properly basic belief. It is a basic belief. There's a difference. A properly basic belief has to apply to everyone. He cannot make that properly basic.
And he is continuously arguing that it does.
But he doesn't know what the difference between a properly basic belief and a basic belief is. Okay,
he doesn't know the term at all. He doesn't. What I'm saying is that it's effectively for him. It's effectively equivalent to a properly basic belief.
Well, how about this? I hate using that term that way. How about this? He takes it axiomatically. We'll agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So he takes it axiomatically.
That's what I'm saying.
And the way you would go about that as an atheist would be attack his reasoning for make that axiomatic. Right? I mean, he may call it a properly basic belief. Okay, fair enough. Obviously, to us, it's not because of reasons we just gave. But you would attack the conditions of why he thinks it's a properly basic belief.
Okay. Now apply that to the properly basic belief that you have senses.
You could. I don't think you could.
He doesn't think that you.
What's that?
Yeah, and he doesn't think you can apply it to.
Oh, I totally get that. Right.
Exactly.
But when you're trying to convince somebody else, which makes more sense, I guarantee it, they're not going to go in the direction of G-Man's. So let's be realistic.
I mean, I think that underlies all of the reasoning that I cannot put into my head. Like one of the reasons why I joined the GDC and why I try to actively participate in these things is I try to force myself to skew my brain and twist my brain to squeeze in what they believe into it. Because I do not believe that you can argue with someone until you understand him properly. If I could make myself believe that there is a God for 15 minutes more after I have lost my beliefs, I think I could do it.
I don't think.
And I really want them to convince
I don't think you can make yourself believe things. I think that's kind of a. I mean, I tend to go to Dostastic and voluntarism, right?
I know. I'm leaning towards that. I know that you can convince yourself into things. I did.
Thing.
I did plenty of meditation and plenty of self-suggestion that I know that I can experience things. I can make myself feel pain in a certain part of my body just by thinking about it very hard. Right?
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about as far as.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
but that's.
Well, like tonight.
I'm.
Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, just real quick tonight, and I want to kind of get Brenden in here a little bit. And Grim, you're welcome to stay as long as you don't bring up certain other things. But if you want to talk about the conversation, you can stay. No, I can't rectify that.
Thank you.
But
you know, you got somebody mimicking my account.
Yeah,
brother.
I just noticed it over there.
I'm gonna like you, Grim.
Ochiwawa, I'm going to give you power.
I love you.
I'm going to let you decide what to do with these people. There, Ochiwawa has power.
Can I have some power?
You don't, dude. You're dangerous with power. You're dangerous.
Nah, man, turn this pig into a hog. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I think we'll pass on that. All right, so this guy, Wolfbitn Jewell, Eric, whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand what a belief is. And did you notice, Brenden? I was asking him, what is belief? I wanted him to answer that because there's a very specific reason.
Yes, because he didn't know the difference. What he was trying to assert was in essence, he was saying, when posed the question, does God exist? He says, you have a claim P that says God exists. Atheists take it to be true. Atheists take it to be false. And rather than acknowledging that that is a belief claim, that you believe that to be true or you believe that to be false, he was simply trying to state, hey, atheists know that God does not exist. And that's like his entire flaw.
And did you notice I was trying to tell him he's wrong, and every time I did, I would get shut down?
Oh, every time. It was no doubt.
I mean, there's a coordinated effort to just, okay, I'm going to overtalk Steve and not let him explain this, and he's going to put forth this supposed evidence, which didn't even remotely say what he thought it said. And so I'm trying to explain it to him in no uncertain terms, and he's telling me that I'm like avoiding the question, I'm not being direct, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
The question. And you agreed with me last night.
Well, you know, we're cuddling together, and people say things when they whisper. Oh no, well, that's
yeah.
Can we short circuit him with G-Man and his atheists know that God exists, and this guy saying atheists know that God doesn't exist?
Yeah, you know,
Sorry.
put them together, and then you have a reasonable position, right?
I want to treat G-Man like he thinks atheists treat God. You know, I know he exists. I just refuse to accept it.
Well, I mean, I was talking to like Dr. Kenny Rhodes the other day, and well, maybe a few weeks ago, but even he thinks G-Man's argument is just crap. He's just like, this is not. He's like, no, you can't. First of all, Romans is not saying what G-Man says it's saying, and and Kenny knows this, and so his whole lines of argument is flawed, even from a Christian point of view. But even if it wasn't, it's still flawed because you cannot tell somebody what their theological position is. It doesn't work that way. It just simply doesn't. I don't get that. It's just, hey, Barney, guess what? You're now a Jew.
Yeah, sure, fine.
Muslim.
Shalom.
Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom.
Allahu Akbar.
And like that, we're all on an FBI list.
Oh, this video.
If I can choose someone's religion, can I choose their gender? Because, Steve, I want you to be a female.
Yeah, well, this video is already demonetized. I can tell you.
Oh, if we're
This video brought
if we
to you
can
by
choose
the
our
CIA.
pronouns, if we can choose our pronouns, can my pronoun be master?
That's racist, dude. That is so racist. Wow. Since we're gonna go down that route, did you guys watch the Sargon and Cod debate? With
Yes.
Oh my god, dude, that was so cringeworthy. I got about halfway through, went to the end, watched the Thomas walked out. I'm not a big Sargon fan as a whole, but I mean, he's great at what he does, and he obliterated this guy. It was painful to watch.
Yes, but it was not a debate. Like, this guy managed to lose despite having all the arguments, all the data, all the information, and keeping his cool for 90% of the debate, and then just having a hissy fit at the end.
It wasn't even supposed to be a debate. I found out that was supposed to be an interview.
How? How do you get an interview with
the YouTube
two
video
opposing
says debate
sides and the moderator?
in the title, so.
I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be more of an interview from what I understood.
No, it was a debate between an SJW and the shitlord.
I thought he was supposed to be a shitlord.
The way you say SJW, it's majestic.
SJW.
He had this guy Thomas was so out there. He just was like, he was getting his shit pushed in bad, and it was notable. I mean, you could tell he lost the audience in the first 10 minutes probably.
Oh, he never had the audience. Sargon brought his own audience, literally.
No, I think it was kind of a mix, but I mean, even still, he did not cater to the audience. And when he said something so funny, he said, intersectionality leads to individuality. And I was like, do you want to rethink that a little bit? Because even that's when Sargon lost his shit. It's like, what? He's like, no. And matter of fact, I think I have the second highest comment on that video right now, pointing that out. The only person that beat me it was a chick that's named the Wandering Radical or something other, some chick. She's cute, but I don't remember her name. But I had like the second highest comment because I was like, no, intersectionality does not lead to individuality. It actually leads to groupthink, because you're now placing people in subcategories, having this tension with other categories of who can get the biggest share of the persecution pie.
Yeah, flat Earth.
But Steve, you're taking away people's free will.
Oh God, they have the free will to be part of these things, but I can point out that they're asinine. I don't get into this essay shit often, but it's not like I'm ignorant of it. I do follow a little bit of it. Yeah. But I gotta admit, I liked Sargon in that video. He did a damn good job. Not gonna lie.
He did a damn good job of trolling. He did a piss poor job of arguing.
I don't think so. I think no. He actually believes this stuff, and I think he did a good job. I actually agree with Sargon on that. I don't think he was trolling at all. I mean, he does troll, but I have to agree with him on what he was saying. He wants equality.
Look, yeah, I'm sorry. When you go up to somebody and say, "Hey, you're a communist and you're a Marxist," and they say, "No, I'm not," and you go, "Yes, yes, you are. I'm going to tell you what you are."
You don't understand.
That's not winning an argument.
He's using rhetoric to point out stuff, right? Because what he's trying to say is, look, people try to label people into groups, right? And his main argument is, look, you cannot exclude other people from a specific group, including white males. And I agree with him on that. I mean, to do so.
I do.
Yeah. Like, for example, there was a organization of women that went to a college campus that had, who's making the mic noise? Are you, Bernie?
Probably. Sorry, I'll mute for a bit.
No, it's
Yeah, there you go.
So they were on college campus, and they were saying that they were pushing through this policy that if you played football or softball, whatever the sport was, it was football, I think it was any sport, and you were accused of a sexual type nature crime, you had to write an apology letter.
Really?
Bitch, I'm gonna write hate mail. Screw that.
That's some bullshit.
They didn't allow any male in there to have a counter opinion on that. Okay, and it shouldn't even be a male; it could be anybody, right? that deserves a counter opinion, I think.
Yeah, that's
no. I absolutely agree. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not writing a letter apologizing for something that I did not do. That's absolutely not happening.
But that's what Sargon and that's kind of stuff. That's what they're fighting against, I think.
We went from wrong thing to wrong existence.
Wait, so one thing is stuff like that exists, and people who propose that and who go after that are idiots. Like he recently had practically a documentary on the mattress girl, which, yes, I agree, is idiocy. That woman that's not a feminist or an SJW, that's a bitch, quite literally. A horrible person. But then taking examples like that and people who promote that and broadly applying it to everybody who's fighting for any kind of social justice, any kind of equality, any kind of... That's ridiculous.
I don't think that's what they're doing at all. Like, you're a feminist, I'm an anti-feminist. We've already established that. But I think reasonably, like Jade's a feminist, I think we agree on most everything, believe it or not. Is just how we label ourselves differently because we're looking at it from different perspectives. You're seeing this whole pie in the sky rosy thing that these people are trying to do, and I'm seeing the bullshit that comes out of it. Right? So we're looking at the same things, we're just looking at it differently. But I think the end results are pretty similar.
I believe that we're just carrying the same, the different labels, but we practically believe the same
similar
things.
I mean, it's the fact that I have testicles still and you don't. But
I don't. Yeah, I have given them to my wife when I took her last name.
Oh, that's. Don't. Did you really?
Can I take him?
Did I take my wife's last name?
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Did she hang him from the rear view mirror in her car?
No, she carries them around and bludgeons people with them.
Live chat, prepare for fringe.
Man, that's a definition of balls of steel.
Yeah. No, I don't, dude. I don't judge. What am I supposed to say, right? I'm a male chauvinist because I think that the woman should take the man's name. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's the other way around. That's fine if they both want to do it. I don't care. I'm just old fashioned, I guess. But whatever. Yeah. You're a cuck.
No, we exchanged last names. We added each other's.
Oh. Okay.
For equality.
God bless the law. Did she end up
our filing technique?
What?
It messes with our filing technique. See, we used to be able to follow your lineage. What happened?
Yeah, my kids will have the problem of having 2 last names, and if they're going to follow them, they'll have 3 last names, and that's going to be a problem after a while.
Are you mom or your dad in this relationship, Barney?
At some point in your line of children, as they go down, someone's going to hate you.
Yeah, I'm sure of it, but
I want to know who I'm related to. I hate this dude.
My position is that's their problem.
This is the source of my fucking issues. Fuck that guy.
This explains a lot now. See, Brenden,
on your tombstone it reads, and he changed our name.
My tombstone's going to be a middle finger.
This is the seriousness of the topics that we get into. Is Barney's taking his wife's last name.
Well, in the matriarchy, it's important that you understand those are the rules.
Oh God, Steve raped me. I need an apology letter.
Yeah, it's only if you play sports do you have to write the letter.
Fuck.
No, that's kind of a
only sports.
Yeah, it's for a sports thing. But it's scary, right? I mean, again, I don't like the direction that feminism has taken, especially with intersectionality, and I know a lot of people are against it. Some people are like, oh, well, Steve, you're looking for the wrong way. Fine, that might be true. But I'm not into that whole social justice warrior thing. I mean, I'm just the opposite of that. I can't help that.
And I agree with you for the most part.
I agree on a lot of levels. Oh, sorry about that.
How American college SJWs are trying to apply it is ridiculous. They're effectively trying to promote segregation.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. That's what people see, though, right? Those radical ones, whether they be the norm or not, that's what people are seeing.
Yeah, but
that's the face.
That's like that's like measuring Christians by the young Earth creationists.
Didn't say I didn't say that wasn't good or bad. I didn't say it was right or wrong. I mean,
you want to get a weed, go for the roots.
I think the analogy is a little off. But it's still that. I mean, the social justice warriors. All these people see is these nutters are out there, right? And all these bad policies and all these political correct crap. And I'm not in.
I agree
and all they see are the dichotomies.
I agree that in the US and in possibly Australia, it very much looks like that currently. Like the stuff that's coming. So I am an active feminist. I actually am part of feminist organizations and am an activist and try to help out. And we cringe at these people. This is not what we're standing for.
That's why you and I get along, right? You're not the radical type that I'm like talking about, right?
Yeah.
So, by the way, we're gonna have to like find you a mic that doesn't scratch. I don't know what it is, but your mic.
Oh, sorry. I'm on my phone headphones and.
Yeah, just don't move around a lot, Brenden. So, what do you fall on all this, Brenden? Because by the way, if you guys haven't met Brenden yet, Brendan's like I said, brand new to the GDC.
Yeah. I just joined like the other day. I want to say.
How many times have you been in Hangouts? Not very often, huh?
No, not very often at all. I've only been in this one, the one that we just had with Wolf, what the fuck ever his name was, and the one that we had before that.
Okay. Was that when you had your little discussion with Wolf last night? Okay.
Yeah. Those are the only three so far that I've been a part of.
Kind of railroading you too a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just his style, and that's why I was laughing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and he kicked you. And
you can't argue with someone who is not at least willing to assess the other side of the argument.
Exactly.
Did you? Okay, so you did watch his 1 minute video, right?
Yeah. No, I actually did not. I hadn't had time to yet, simply because I was at work. Yeah.
Take it right now. Go take a minute to watch it. Seriously, watch it.
Go. That's what I was planning.
We'll wait for you.
Literally, right as I got home, I looked on. I checked Facebook, and you guys were just getting on.
Grimmer played some drums for us or something.
Oh, Jesus.
Cyborg will sing, and we'll keep her entertained for a minute. It's a minute long. Go watch it.
What'd he say?
You're not gonna go watch it?
Oh, this is sad.
I think my computer randomly got quiet, and I have no idea why. None of my settings are different.
That's great. So,
Eric, I don't want to get flagged. You can't play music. Trust me, it happens.
Oh, it's not even a real song, but I won't.
People get flagged for the weirdest reasons. I swear to God, it's YouTube has been one of the most obnoxious.
Sucks.
Yeah, this video will get flagged because I said fuck more than once.
Oh, fuck off, you little bitch.
I don't because
there you go.
Because I still want to try to monetize them, and sometimes I can fight it, and sometimes I actually, even on the limited ones, some of them still actually have videos or ads on them. They're just tentative, but a flag for music thing is completely different. That if somebody says, "Oh, that's my song,"
Yeah.
Actually, that was my song, Steve.
That would be a compliment, though. If I could play well enough for it to register as someone else's song.
Yeah, well, Bach's been dead for a long time. He's playing Bach or something. But anyways, so is he watching that, Brenden? Are you watching that video? Or you just...
Bach, then.
Yeah, he's watching it. Just leave Brenden alone. Let him masturbate in peace.
Yeah, no, I'm over here looking at that.
So while he's watching that,
good Lord.
We'll talk about it even if you haven't watched it. But basically, Wolf. Okay, I remember very distinctly Wolf coming onto my channel saying that he has a 1 minute argument against evolution. It was so long ago and so buried in some video that I couldn't even begin to tell you where it was. I did make a post about it in 2016 saying that I was going to offer him another chance to come back on. I don't remember where this video is. I don't remember the situation except that he came in, failed miserably, and just got laughed off, right? And this is his argument, right? You guys ready for this? You guys ready for this? Ochiwawa has a master's degree in biology, so he's gonna find this fascinating. Ready for this? This is his argument against foolproof 1 minute argument against evolution.
All right, it wasn't even 1 minute. It was like a solid 30 seconds. It was like 10 seconds of intro and then like the last 50.
We're waiting for it. Go ahead, Steve.
Waiting for what? What?
Oh, hang on. That's fine. It's fine, Brenden. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm excited. I want to hear.
I'm getting everybody excited.
Oh, Jesus. All right, so the entirety of the 30 seconds that he talks about was that.
Oh, don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet. We got to build up the suspense. Okay. So the entirety of his argument was two things. What are those two things?
All right, so he says scientists have not proven that there is a fossil link between species. Therefore, evolution can't be a thing.
That was one of them. The other one was that evolution hasn't been proven. So
that was the entirety of the argument.
That was the entirety of the argument. Evolution has not been proven, which no scientific theory has ever proven, because that's not how science works. And
that's why a theory is still a theory.
He doesn't understand scientific theories will always be theories. There's nothing higher than a scientific theory. That is the ultimate.
Scientific laws are above that, are they not?
No, they're not. Scientific
laws
are
data comes in every day and it changes. Models are a little harder to change, but they change more often than theories. And then there's theories. That's it. Theories at the top of the pyramid.
So theory is the
even when new data comes in, it refutes them.
Yeah, so you cannot ever get higher than theory. So our theory incorporates all data. Theory has all the data pertaining to a specific subject, right? So a law is under that subject. So like the law of gravity in Newtonian physics, right? Force equals gm1m2 divided by r squared.
Is within the theory of gravity.
Within the theory of gravity.
More than just Newtonian gravity.
Yeah.
Got
so he just doesn't really understand this. And so he thinks because it has not been proven, it must be wrong, which fails on so many different levels.
I mean, if you could say that about damn near anything. You could use the exact same logic to refute the God that he supposedly believes in.
Well, you can also say, well, atomic theory isn't true because it hasn't.
Yeah, but he takes his Bible as evidence of God.
Yeah, and like
2 words.
But the other thing
is the one thing about religions that it really must make them mad, because with 2 words you can defeat any of the arguments. Prove it.
No, I don't like that word. I don't like.
Yeah, but
I don't like to say prove it because let me explain why. First of all, the other part of his argument was there was no transitional fossils, right?
If you're being antagonistic, it's fun to do sometimes.
Okay, but the word proof is thrown around.
Never been. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
The word proof is thrown around too liberally because in science we don't prove things. But when you have a doxastic claim, you don't have to prove shit. If you say you believe God exists, you don't have to prove God's existence. That's retarded, right? And an atheist who says I believe God does not exist, they don't have to prove God does not exist because that's just as retarded. This is Eric's mentality. He doesn't understand that.
So yeah.
Hey Steve, I got a question. It's an educational question. For the difference between facts and theories and laws, pretty much facts and laws are grouped together while theories are in a separate group, right?
No, I would describe it this way. Look at a fact is a discrete empirical piece of data, right? Let's say like what the biggest mammal in the ocean is a blue whale. That's a fact, right? Something that relates to reality. It's a piece of information that relates to reality. Now, a fact can change. A scientific fact can change. If tomorrow we found a bigger mammal, then that would be the new fact, correct?
Well, then that would mean that the other one wasn't a fact in the first place.
Sure, but at the time it is a fact, right? That's why they're called provisional facts.
Right. There. Well, there you go. That's
all facts in science are provisional. Yeah. Okay. So that was what a fact is. Now, a theory,
right? But you can say, well, in this aquarium, this fish is the largest fish in this aquarium, and that is a fact at the time. Not so
provisional. It doesn't matter. Right. Provisionality only means the facts can change.
All right. I'm just trying to see what's the different levels of if
that fish dies and you take it out, some other fish now becomes the biggest.
Right, but at the time, like you said, provisionally.
Well,
it's always provisionally if it's the wrong animal or the wrong time. But I mean, if we're gonna isolate the differences, like we'll make sure we have the right time, right, and then the right aquarium, and then
God, you're so high right now, aren't you?
Oh, of course, but I mean that's
so high.
Night
it's apparent.
Yeah.
All right, so let me finish this off before I think Graham goes into La La Land. So a theory is the umbrella that encapsulates all the knowledge of that area. Okay, so if atomic theory That would include anything with atomics, obviously, nuclear physics, and the Bohr model, the plum drop model, any model whatsoever, whether they work or not, everything's incorporated into that theory. Okay. And then obviously the ones that don't work, we don't use, right? So the plum drop model isn't part of the atomic theory anymore, but at one time it was. So it kind of falls by the wayside if the model doesn't work anymore. But the laws, right? The laws that are inside that we know the whole truth, those are still part of the theory. So anything that deals with that topic, including the theories, the laws, the facts, hypothesis, conjectures, fall under that. And then there's different gradients. If I say, look, I have a conjecture, I want to test it, I want to formulate a hypothesis that I can test and see if I can reject the null hypothesis. Okay. And then if I find enough, well, you don't find enough evidence for it, if you don't find evidence against it, you can say that you aren't rejecting the null, and you can accept the hypothesis claim. And it doesn't necessarily become a theory, but it can become incorporated into the theory. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, for in other words, like you can observe like the Lorentz law, if, for example, it actually works the way that it's supposed to, but then you can still have a theory as to what a field really is. We still won't even understand, you know what I mean? So you can, there's different variables.
You mean Lorentz law?
Lorentz.
There's Lorentz contraction.
Right. Well, you know, the perpendicular magnetics to the electric flow.
That's Lentz. L-E-N-T-A-Z.
Oh, Lentz.
Yeah.
T-Z. That's what I was thought I was saying.
Lorentz deals with like
yeah, Lorentz is
time dilation.
Field equation. Yeah, okay.
Right. If you're traveling near the speed of light, then the time dilation formula kicks in, which is L prime equals 1 divided by the square root of 1 minus v squared divided by c squared. That's the Lorentz contraction. That just gives you a factor.
That shit memorized. That's funny.
Yeah, I know. People think I'm an idiot.
Back to high school. I know.
It's fascinating though.
It's so funny. It's so funny when people like Wolf Blitzen and G-Man and these other people are just like, they think they're so fucking knowledgeable, but they don't goddamn have a clue of any of these fucking topics, man. It's like, come on. You talk about theology, you don't understand theology. You talk about, by the way, I don't understand theology. Bible.
But it's okay not to. It's just the way that it's approached. It's as if you know, hey, I know everything, and I know I'm discrediting this and that, you know. And it's like, well,
it's more than that, though.
If you weren't acting like that, you know, if they weren't to be that way all the time, it wouldn't be like, there wouldn't be no, I wouldn't feel any kind of emotion or anything out of you know what I mean, out of trying to, you know, laugh about how they don't know anything.
Well, if you're going to
claim that they know every fucking thing, it's almost fucking, it almost tickles my fancy to see how many dumb shit, you know, how many dumb things they say.
If you're going to say that you've falsified the theory of evolution, I mean, maybe this is me, but I kind of think
feels like a tickle.
What the theory
I feel like I'm being tickled.
Yeah, but can you even falsify a theory? You can falsify a hypothesis, right?
Falsify a theory, sure. Karl Popper's falsification criteria is basically that all theories have to have some kind of falsification criteria.
All theories or all hypotheses?
Theories.
Like if you see this and anomalous, this would make your theory null, right?
There has to be a proven condition of some sort. Feynman would say, all theories are basically what we hold to be the case until they're disproven. They're never proven. We just hold on to them as long as they work until freaking something comes along better, or replaces or whatever.
Okay, so.
Oh, Barney, your mic is.
Tell me.
What do? Do you eat it? Scratchy noises. Are you deep throating it or what?
Your beard is.
No, it's rubbing. It's rubbing against my shirt.
My beard doesn't even scratch my mic, and mine's like.
Deep throat that mic.
I got.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay. Is this better?
I don't know. Talk for a while.
Okay, I'm gonna talk for a while now. So the way I understand it is that you make an observation. Based on the observation, you suppose something, formulate it in a way that it can be tested, then it becomes a hypothesis. You set up the falsification criterion and try to falsify it. If you cannot falsify it, no matter how you try, it's pretty much taken as confirmed. Once you get enough of hypotheses confirmed, they should converge. once they converge, you can formulate a theory based on multiple hypotheses that haven't been disproved.
Okay, right. And
right?
And that's, why would you ever remove the falsification criteria at that point? It still exists.
Yeah, but
scientific theory has to be able to be falsified to be a scientific theory.
No. It is falsifiable through its hypotheses. If you can falsify the hypothesis, you falsify the theory. Otherwise, you just trivially falsify it by saying, "Oh, I found an exception within this theory. Now I have to modify it."
Well, no. Okay, first of all, an exception is not an exception to a core property. We're talking about a core property of the theory. For example, if you saw two dogs mating and they produce G-man, that would invalidate a core property or core principle of evolution, right? That is not explainable. Something's fundamentally wrong. The theory would have to be scrapped for something else. It'd be probably something pretty similar, and it'd probably be
scrap it for something entirely different.
That would cause that's a falsification criteria, because the theory of evolution says two dogs have to produce a dog.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
But then you would throw away 200 years of...
Yeah, because if something that magnitude, obviously vertical gene transmission is not working the way we think we are, or think it does. If two dogs can produce a human, something is majorly wrong, because you couldn't even have any predictions anymore. You couldn't predict anything. Everything's wrong about the theory.
Okay, it works with predictions in 99.99999%. There's an edge case in which two dogs produce a G-man.
Yeah, how do you know that is the edge case? That's the thing.
To falsify a theory, you just really have to perceive or conceive of an observation or concept or argument which could negate it.
That's
right. You don't really have to. Yeah, that would be. So if you could, like I was saying, it's not about if you actually have to physically falsify it or not. It's just if you can come up with parameters.
Well, no. You're coming up with
if it doesn't exist within these parameters. That's what it means by falsified.
No. If you can, just hypothetically doesn't mean shit. You need to find something. Well, no, if we found a human,
it's falsifiable if it's possible to conceive of an observation or an argument which could negate them.
Yeah, but that's a falsification criteria.
Right.
If we found humans in the Precambrian layers, human remains, and obviously that's in situ, which hasn't been changed around because of plate tectonics or subduction or anything, then yeah, that would be very hard to explain away in the paleological record, right?
Well, I know, but the example I used before was if an anomalous observation is to be seen, then it would falsify your theory, right? So. Right, exactly. So if for say there's high redshifted objects in front of highly blue shifted objects, and the objects are actually connected, that falsifies the Big Bang, right?
No, I don't. First of all,
let me put it this way: general theory of relativity.
It is what that is.
No, because
they don't apply it to themselves when these theories are so big and dogmatic.
No, not all. Dude, I am friends with Dr. Hugh Ross, right? You know who he is, correct?
No, not really.
He's an astrophysicist, a very famous astrophysicist, Dr. Hugh Ross. Go look him up. Yeah. I mean, if you had any kind of if you had any kind of evidence that falsified the Big Bang, he'd be the first person I ran it through. And I guarantee you have no evidence that falsifies the Big Bang, because I've been down this route with people. I don't think you understand what the Big Bang even is. Trust me on this one. I guarantee it. I'll be very surprised if you can tell us what the Big Bang Theory is. I'll tell you what, I'll even eat my words. I'm going to say, Grim, God, you really surprised me. You do actually understand. In a single sentence or less or so.
Something from nothing.
Tell everybody what the Big Bang Theory is.
Something from nothing. Zero source. Zero. Einstein says
there you go. He has no idea what the Big Bang Theory is. Did I call this one? Give me a round of applause,
that's
people.
A great theist explanation.
Give me a round of applause. Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, no, you said to simplify it in the most dumbing down type of.
And you did it wrong.
And that's why I tried to do that and make it as dumb and simple as fucking you can possibly make it.
Grim, that is not even simple. That's so practically wrong. That is potato. You might have just answered potato, and I would have given you a higher score.
Oh my god!
If you had said something from something, you would have been more correct.
Yes.
As King Crocodile would say, that's not even wrong.
Not even wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I got
So,
you.
Steve.
I was
Steve,
over. Hang on, I was over in.
Yeah, but like if I were to continue talking, I would be talking about the actual mechanics of the idea instead of just the stupid thing that I just said, that you're making your stupid little judgments and running your little commentary. Right. But the model describes basically how the universe expanded from like a very super high density and high temperature state, right?
But that is not nothing.
That is not nothing.
Well,
right.
no, it offers a huge range of phenomena and things that you're
you guys want to go down this rabbit hole?
What you're seeing, including light elements, cosmic wave background, large scale structures.
Grim, breathe for a second. Brenden, this is, I have this hang up for you. Do you want to go
I know
down this
exactly
route?
what I'm talking about.
Grim,
it's a result of this singularity.
Grim, you take a fucking breath. Brenden, do you want to go down this rabbit hole with cosmology?
Sure, I can go down any rabbit hole. I really don't mind.
All right. I mean, I just want to make sure, because I can go down any rabbit hole too. People know I'm pretty versed in a lot of different areas.
I mean, I'm not going down his rabbit hole. Yeah, that's gross.
No.
Well, there's literally a rabbit on the screen, so.
I was gonna say there's quite literally a rabbit right there.
So Grim,
you guys, you're eliminating the idea that EM fields, which are 1,000 billion times stronger than gravity, by the way, you're eliminating the idea that they could be out there structuring and organizing the orbits and structuring matter and whatnot. And then you're adding ad hoc ideas like dark energy and dark matter to try and fill anomalous behaviors, right?
Grim, you have to breathe.
In fact, NASA has just detected the Alpine. I don't have to breathe. I'm talking about. Just stop talking over me for a second. You're being very disrespectful, man.
I'm not trying
to defend a little bit of a position.
Shut up! Jesus fucking Christ. You're high as fuck. I don't want you to shotgun, okay? Because shotgunning does no good to anybody. I can explain each one of these things in order that you bring them up. But don't shotgun, because this is what Eric does. And this is what other people do, like Nephi. And I cannot sit here and address 5 million things. Let's talk about this in order that you bring them up, okay? So one of the first things you brought up is these EM fields. Okay, non-ferrous material are not affected by EM fields. There you go, done. Okay, move on to the next one. Go ahead. Jesus. So EM fields have nothing to do with non-ferrous material.
You can't by decree say you win an argument. What is plasma?
He never said that.
Yeah, first of all, I didn't win the argument. Second of all, wait, are you acting?
You just claimed done. You walked around on a chessboard like a pigeon, knocking all over pieces, talking about.
Okay, so you're claiming that
you don't even know what you're talking about. Plasma permeates our
plasma is.
Yeah, plasma is a conductor of electricity.
I just had a plasma physicist. Right. I just had a plasma physicist on my channel.
So then you
Grim
understand
is
that
very, very high.
Yeah, you're high as fuck, and I'm done. You have one more chance before I get rid of your ass.
I'm not being rude to you, Steve.
Grim, you cannot just throw this shit out there. Now, do you agree?
You're talking at me instead of to me,
because
Steve.
You're an idiot.
I don't like that.
We all know this, and this
really
is
all you have is ad hom so far. I've explained myself. If you understood the plasma dynamics, then you'd understand what I'm talking about.
You understand plasma physics? I tell you what, I will.
Yeah, a little bit. I sure do.
Great.
I've got a lot of this information from Anthony Pratt.
I will set you.
You won't even listen to me.
I will set you up. I will set you up with a plasma physicist. I will set you up with a plasma physicist. And you guys come in. Both of you guys describe plasma physics, and we'll see who understands it.
Right, and you're only worried. Yeah, we both. Then we'll see that we both understand.
So what is plasma?
All right.
What is plasma?
See, listen to you, not listening to me. It's we've gone over this 1,000 times. What is plasma? Free electrons, ions.
Okay, so what is it?
Yeah. It's an ionic gas. It's removed of its electrons.
Gas.
Yeah.
Okay, so state of gas.
Well, it was, and now it's plasma. It's electrified.
Electrified. So it's electrified. So it means it produces electricity.
In the state that we're speaking about right now.
Okay.
Have you heard of the Alpine wave? Hannes Alpine.
No, I have no idea. So
the father of plasma science of physics. You haven't heard of him? Okay.
I'm not plasma physicist.
That's cool, but that's all right. It's okay not to know stuff.
I agree. I do.
Right. So now that we've established that you actually don't know what we're talking about, especially the Alpine wave. The Alpine wave is a kinetic wave. If you'll listen for a second, you'll learn.
Okay.
The Alpine wave is a kinetic wave in plasma, showing that plasma also has capacitance, which means it's a capacitor and can hold a charge. Okay.
Yeah, and how
so
does
we
it,
have different,
wait,
right. So with
what's
charge
that?
capacitance and charge potential differences, we have discharges in EM fields and electromagnetics, right? Because
You're throwing
without
out these
the
terms, but you know,
without the magnetics, there wouldn't be
now
the
you're jargon bombing. Okay, I know what a
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to talk through. You're over talking me.
So what is the dialectic in the capacitor then? In your example, give me what is acting as a dialectic?
I'll break it down for
No.
the terms that you might be expected to understand.
What is the dialectic in your capacitor?
When we're splitting magnetism in the electric.
What
is you're calling it a material, but it could be actual magnetism. It has a dielectric properties as well.
What is a dialectic?
Faraday quotes.
Yeah, what's a Faraday? What's a farad?
No, I was just quoting something Faraday said. As magnetism is a dielectric.
You're dielectric because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Can you even tell me what?
Hey, Brenden, are you enjoying this?
Dielectric.
Brenden,
but what's your real question?
So
I know, but anybody who knows about plasma knows that I know what I'm talking about. That's
no, they don't. I have a plasma physicist, so right now will tell you that you're an idiot.
Where, in your pocket?
No.
He'll tell you because he's your buddy.
You really? No, he's a plasma physicist.
Anthony Pratt is he Anthony Pratt? Is he Hannes Alfvén? Is he the father of plasma physics? Your guy is gonna tell the father of plasma physics that he's an idiot.
Are you going to blow?
That's all I'm doing is repeating.
I mean, no, but he's going to tell you you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're an idiot. You don't know what the hell you're even parroting. You're just spewing out shit like Ronnie does.
That's bullshit, man. You just won't even look at what I'm saying. You just had a whole long conversation about people like you.
All right. So what is your dialect? What is your dialect?
I just listened to you have a whole full conversation about people just like yourself. How they don't look at the other side of the argument. They ridicule. They argue from ignorance. All of the things you talked about.
All right, Grim, fuck off.
Why are you muting me?
Yeah, because you're not. I'm going to eject you in 1 second here if you interrupt me one more time.
I've not been rude to you yet.
Listen to my question. Either answer the question or get the fuck out.
Ask me a question then.
Can I? What in your example is the dialectic in the capacitor? A capacitor has a dialectric, right? What is a dielectric in your capacitor there?
Well, like I said, it's when the magnetism and the electricity are separated.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Did anybody understand that?
Well,
okay, no, nobody understood that.
Do you know what you're thinking about?
Wait.
It would be the actual mechanism would be the wall of electrons in a double wall.
I have another question. What is a farad? What is a farad?
Coherency. What is what?
You're a fucking idiot. Get the fuck out of here. Bye-bye.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. You're done.
What was this even about? What was he trying to prove?
This is why I said, Brenden, you want to go down this rabbit hole? Because he's an idiot, as you can tell.
Yeah, that was a rabbit hole that I was not expecting. Because what I was expecting by a conversation based around the Big Bang Theory was something that was central to the Big Bang Theory. Rather, went off on a different tangent and then went off on a tangent off of that on how the first tangent was somehow relevant.
You see what happened?
We were having a nice conversation. All of a sudden, Bugs Bunny got his carrot up his ass.
Well, that's why I wanted to take it down there for a second. But do you know what happens when you have an idiot who's high, even more being an idiot?
He
doesn't know what a
was this the electric world theory thingy?
Yes.
The electric universe bullshit? Oh.
Yes. This is why I said.
Okay, I'm glad I never went into that.
I was going to say that's what I imagined whenever you were talking about.
He is an EU advocate
earlier.
Yeah. And by the way, farad is a measure of capacitance, how much something can store as a capacitor. The way a capacitor works, and he doesn't understand this, a capacitor works like this. You have two plates usually, okay? And it could be like wrapped around each other like an electrolytic capacitor, or just like metal plates or air plates. The middle in between them could be air gap, right? Or it could be something in there like mica or a soaked what's called electrolyte solution with the paper. And that paper is called a dielectric. That actually is what maintains the charge differential between the capacitor plates. And so I can have plus on this side and minus on this side. And so when I remove the like a charge from it like that, or like example, you have a sinusoidal wave, the capacitance will start to discharge and it'll continue to keep a voltage through there. And that's kind of what it'll do in like a rectifier circuit. If I wanted to like do an inverter to convert DC to AC, what the capacitor does is it keeps the voltage from going too low, because during the low points of the sinusoidal wave, the capacitor will start to discharge. I'm
not capable of following this.
All right, well, long story short, Grimm doesn't fucking have a clue.
Yeah. Can you sum up what the claim of the electric universe is?
Yeah, Electric Universe started back when with a guy named Immanuel Velikovsky. He wrote a book called Worlds in Collision, which I actually read back in the early 80s. It was based upon the writings of a man named Zecharia Sitchin. Ever heard of him?
Nope.
Names should be familiar. Nope. All right. Well, Zecharia Sitchin claimed to be able to read reformed Sumerian mythos and Sumerian writings, and he developed this huge narrative of the Anunnaki, which is a race of aliens that mated with humans and built this whole mythos on this, right? That Immanuel Velikovsky ran with. Some of the theories that he came up with of this were, one, Venus was an ejected comet from. Why is Grimm back? Grimm, you're high. You don't know anything about this stuff. What do
you said Zecharia Sitchin, man. That's not Zecharia Sitchin. Give me a second, okay? Before we go stupid again, just give me a second. Because you have a misrepresented idea of what they
really. Okay, correct me on this.
You do. And I understood what a capacitor was. I thought you were asking in terms of what they're calling a capacitance. What we're talking about in plasma, a double-walled a layer of plasma having capacitance.
Don't start again.
I understand like the standard definition of what a capacitor is, dude. And a farad is a measurement of capacitance. But I didn't even know you said farad.
Grimm, don't go there again, please. I just want to hear what the base.
Okay, the basis for the electric universe theory has nothing to do with any man named Zecharia anything. Okay,
really?
That is some Nibiru bullshit. Yeah, that is the reading of some Sumerian tablet bullshit. Has nothing to do with us, dude. Just put that somewhere else. That's not got anything to do with the EU theory at all whatsoever. That is some old fucking theistic bullshit, fairy tale stuff. That's nothing to do with us.
Okay, stop telling me what it's not. Tell me what it is.
Okay. I just had to defend what it was just called.
Do you know who Immanuel Velikovsky was?
Yes, Immanuel Velikovsky had some proper ideas about electricity and space, but he was a little cuckoo too. And we all agree.
He got a lot of these things from.
It doesn't matter. We have NASA now. You believe in NASA?
Read any Velikovsky?
Do you think NASA's really up there doing stuff? I do. And do you think they're measuring Alpine waves? I do, because they did, and they discovered it. This is only a couple of months old.
Did you ever read any Velikovsky?
Yeah, no.
I did.
But I've read a thesis about Velikovsky.
Okay.
So it doesn't,
And
fine.
I didn't read what he said, but I read what other people said about it.
I know, but he keeps separating what I'm trying to say away from me. He keeps on parceling it into these little broken pieces of knowledge. You're not going to get the picture of what I'm trying to tell you if you keep letting Steve do this.
Well, then why don't you get to the picture and
stop? I'm trying to. You ask me what the fucking EU theory is. All they're doing is applying classic physics, plasma physics, which is existing here on Earth. It's not, pseudoscience. They're just applying it to things in space instead of using those gravitational models only, because so many observations refute the gravitational models.
Such as what?
Such as redshift and highly redshifted objects and behind. Yeah, it does.
Well,
connected to highly blue shifted objects that are in front of them. Yeah, it does. That literally does. Then there's the
show me the physics
galaxies and the spiral galaxies that are so far away from the origin. Can you stop interrupting me, Steve? It sounds like you're threatening. It's weird. Don't be that way, man. Just be grown up for a second.
Here's the problem.
Man. I'll just shut up. Since it's your channel, you just behave how you want.
Don't know anything about science at all, and you spew this
shit, dude.
And you spew words, and then when anybody tries to correct you on it, all you just say is they're wrong. Okay?
No, I never said you were wrong.
Science course in your
no, you just thought you were correcting me. You were asking me a linear question in a particular way, and I was wanting to finish what I was saying.
Show us these peer review papers that you're talking about.
Anthony Pratt, there's plenty of them. I've got
that Big Bang model is wrong.
No, that refutes the. Actually, there's observations. These are quotes from your own Big Bang physicists, bro. These quotes come straight from them. These anomalous observations that have need to be rectified.
Observations. I'm saying that they have explanations.
No, they don't. That's the thing. That's why they're called anomalous.
But no, anomalous.
They don't have an explanation.
Sure, they'd still have hypotheses to explain these things.
No, they don't. That's the funny part.
Yeah, I mean,
well, no, because you can't fit it in the parameter, Steve. You can't fit it in the parameters. You can't say, "Oh, there's all these laws. Gravity only has this much force, and then we've only been here for this much time." But then that galaxy can be so well formed and so huge, and so far away from the originating point of the Big Bang that it defies the theory. Yes, at some point you have to admit. Okay, well,
I talked to.
I'm just going to say you just don't know what you're talking about today.
Oh, clearly, I don't.
About that.
Clearly, because you have a Nobel Prize.
Look, there's a
Nobel Prize.
What's the Nobel Prize, really?
Right?
Come on.
Yeah, sure.
I'm actually curious about how this redshift.
Actually, Hannes Alfvén probably, I think, does have a Nobel Prize.
That's fine. I didn't. Did I not say I'm not familiar with that?
Well, NASA just discovered the Alfvén wave in our solar system.
Great. It doesn't prove Big Bang.
Yes, it does. It means there is charge being held in these plasma fields out here, which means that gravity alone is definitely not the only thing organizing, structuring orbits of matter and all that kind of fun stuff that's going on out there.
Right. Abate, ask your question, please.
And how because you brought up redshift, how's that debunk gravity? How's that refute gravity?
It's not about debunking gravity. It's just an explanation for gravity. Universe. It's not about debunking gravity at all. It's
okay. So how does redshift explain gravity?
Well, separate the two. They don't do either to each other. That's not what we're talking about. You're connecting two things that don't. We're not talking about. See, only in your theory do gravity and redshift coincide.
Hang on a second. I haven't actually said anything yet. I've just come into the room.
No, I mean in the standard model. Okay, excuse me. Right, the standard model. I don't mean to place you in a box.
Right.
But, okay. So redshift is the is more of the charge value than anything to do with gravity. The
charge value.
Yeah, earlier the charge, the earlier the circuitry, the forming of the circuit. See, they see stars and things like that as Z pinches in the plasma caught. Yeah, but you know what a Z pinch is?
Yeah, I know what a Z pinch is. I actually
I still don't know what you're on about at the moment.
Yeah, I know every term you're using except for one. And if I probably looked it up, I might have recognized it. But
the thing is, I understand each.
Talked about this Z pinch with that plasma physicist several months ago. So yes, we do know what these concepts are.
Yeah, and I mean, like individually, we understand what these terms are. We understand, or at least, we might not understand the accurate, the specific mathematics of it, but we do actually understand the concepts, right? So I'm just not sure how these all link together.
They don't.
Right. Yeah, they do. Plasma permeates the solar system and the universe, right? You can see these big magnetic tethers, right? You can see the different colors. You can actually light spectrum analysis tell which plasmas they are and all that fun stuff too when they're in glow
modes. Hang on a second. Let's just pause that for a second. Plasma permeates throughout the entire solar system. Is that what you said?
Yeah, universe actually.
Okay, throughout the entire universe. And what exactly are you seeing?
I'm sorry?
You're saying that it lights up differently?
Yeah, sometimes it's in glow mode, sometimes it's not, but it's always there.
In glow mode?
Glow mode would be electrified, excited to where you're actually seeing the magnetic spectrum where it's actually invisible in the visible range. And, you know, depending on which spectrum you're looking for on it, infrared or whatnot. So there's all sorts of different ways to see if it's in glow mode or not. That's a lot of our radio telescopes pick them up that way as, you know.
Okay, so are you referring to plasma being picked up by instruments?
Yeah, of course. NASA actually just detected from their spacecraft, right? They have that, I forget the name of that little mission, those 4 spacecraft that flew very close together around the solar system and collecting data on the electron movements. They found the Alfvén wave, which is that kinetic wave in plasma, which plasma was thought, if you look at the definition right now, you still don't see them changing the definition. Plasma is thought to, they're saying out there, is thought to be more or less no electric charge. That's what that's what they're saying. But we found that to be absolutely untrue. It's got high charge potential. Anything moving through it and allows induction. Say again?
How do you spell this wave?
Hannes. The man's name is Hannes. Alphine, double N-E-S. Alphine, A-L-F.
Okay. A-L-F-V-E-N wave, right? Yeah, Hannes Alfvén. Okay. It says magnetohydrodynamics. And you know what magnetohydrodynamics entails?
Yeah, basically. Not entails entirely.
Okay, what is magnetohydrodynamics? This is your wave. So can you tell me what it's about? Can you tell me what magnetohydrodynamics is?
Yeah, it's when the waves are actually being held in reverb, just to sum it up.
No, I actually know what magnetohydrodynamics is.
The ions are flowing in a direction back and forth inside of the field.
No, do you have no idea what that is?
Dude, you have no idea.
Okay, really? Because have you heard
read the goddamn definition and you still have no idea.
There's actually a submarine that's designed off magnetohydrodynamics. How does that submarine work then?
I know, but you're just reading that right now.
No, I'm not.
You're smart. You are. I saw you type.
I've looked up the Alfvén wave. I asked you for it. I was in the Navy. I know what a magnetohydrodynamic propulsion system is. Okay, so
awesome.
Can you tell me what a magnetohydrodynamic propulsion system is?
I already told you it's exactly what it is, dude. And you're acting like I'm stupid because of it.
Okay, how about this? How about this? I'm unfamiliar with this particular term. Can you explain to me what it is? Because I certainly
can't.
Understand a word.
I said it's basically oscillating ions.
Steve, just shut up for a second. I didn't understand a word that you said.
I second that.
I third that.
Okay, cool. I just said to make it as simple as possible. I said it's oscillating ions, basically responding, to trying to balance itself back out from
oscillating ions. I'm not sure what that means. Oscillating ions. How is it oscillating?
They're moving back and forth.
I understand the definition of oscillating.
So ions are moving back and forth.
That's not the question. What does that got to do with magnetohydrodynamics? Oh my god.
Ions are moving back and forth. Let
me fucking see Alfvén wave. Let me see something real quick. Alfvén wave.
Yeah,
I know I'm not crazy. You guys are just being
no, these are legit waves. I didn't recognize the term. But I found out they had to do with magnetohydrodynamics. One thing that I do know what that is. You don't even know what the hell that is.
In plasma physics, an Alfvén wave, named after Hannes Alfvén, is a type of, magnetohydrodynamic wave in which ions.
Thank you.
Okay, in which ions oscillate in response to a restoring force provided by an effective tension on the magnetic field lines.
I didn't ask you what an Alfvén wave was. I asked you what a magnetohydrodynamics was, and you're giving me the definition for an Alfvén wave, demonstrating you don't know the fucking difference. Oscillating waves have nothing to do with magnetohydrodynamics.
Well, no, but in the
magnetohydrodynamics, but that's
I know, but you're acting as if I'm so fucking offbeat. You're not. I'm not. You're using semantics to try and make some bullshit. An Alfvén wave is a type of magnetohydrodynamic wave.
I get that, but what is the study of magnetohydrodynamics?
That's what I'm telling you.
What is the study of it? How does that? Okay, so wait.
Fine example of your Delphi technique.
God damn it! I want to get this right. So wait, you're telling me that a submarine that has an that has magnetohydrodynamic propulsion system runs off oscillating ions? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm definitely not. You're changing the subject.
I'm
talking about Alfvén waves, plasma in
so
space,
they run off
right?
Alfvén waves?
And you're trying to change the topic to your particular topic of how a particular submarine works. We're not talking about how a submarine works.
Okay.
How about you're talking about is a magnetohydrodynamic wave.
Hang on.
How about we bring it
wave is a type of
guys,
talk in turn, please.
How about we bring it back into the subject and actually say, how does these Alfvén waves actually support your position?
Wait, no, I don't.
One second before that, can we please get what the base claim of electric universe is? I still don't know what you're talking about.
He wouldn't let me finish. He hasn't told you yet, but.
From what you're saying, I'm guessing that gravity is an electromagnetic phenomenon.
Okay.
Right? And he's trying to change the subject too, over and over again.
You keep changing the subject.
I'm
No,
just
it's
trying
not
to
an electromagnetic phenomenon.
Trying to bring
as you
back
might
the
think.
topic to your
All right, so
position.
do we all agree that he doesn't know what magnetohydrodynamics means? We all
No,
agree.
look, Steve.
I don't think
That's irrelevant, really, at this
Well,
point.
not really.
I just
Okay, fair enough. Whatever. He doesn't know what it is. Now,
I just want to understand what's his position and why.
Electric universe theory is pretty.
He's never gonna let me talk.
No, Steve, just let him say it instead.
Fine, tell him what it is.
Grim, you still there?
Okay,
Grim, what is the electric universe theory?
Okay, it's not replacing gravity. It's just giving a different example for what gravity might be. Instead of it just being the mass, it's the charge of the mass, but not just the charge, but the subatomic particles, which they call in the electric gravity theory a dipole on a subatomic particle. That's why.
Okay, so the thing that's pushing me against my bed right now.
Forces. Yeah, that's why it acts on all forces, on all things, and moves through all the things, right? Because it doesn't have anything to do with, like magnetism per se at all. It's it's basically the EM field of your subatomic particles.
Can anybody repeat back to me what the hell that just meant?
Nope.
Me either.
Well, ask Wallace.
Try again.
I'm still really confused at the moment.
So,
simple.
All right. So the way that I see this is what you're trying to say is that gravity is not caused by magnetism at all, and instead it is replaced by the not the electromagnetic, but you're.
I think what he's saying was gravity. I think what he's trying to say is gravity isn't affected by mass, but rather by the electromagnetic charge of each individual atom.
Yes,
yeah, basically,
which actually it is mass though. See, it's just why is it mass?
Basically,
it is still mass. It's still everything's still the same as far as the idea that it's mass.
No,
about
in the EU model,
why is it about the mass?
In the EU model,
they're just explaining why it's
in the EU model they don't accept curvature of space-time. Okay, they don't think gravity is the result of a potential well because space-time is curving. They think that
they don't believe in using gravity to explain gravity, right?
Yeah, so they think that everything somehow is related to electric potential differences and what's called ionization states.
And as we get older, we're starting to find out that we've been right the whole time.
My friend who looked into this says that it was a complete they don't base it on anything. I mean, it's complete. The gibberish she just said.
Physics, dude.
No, what they do is they take actual physics and then they throw in all these weird other things to it and they throw it out there and like, whoa, look, here it is.
Name one.
You just did it.
You seem to have a million on your mind. Name one.
Name one what?
Name one thing that you think is ridiculous.
Solar transistor theory.
Okay, name what's ridiculous about it?
Because the sun's not a damn transistor.
Really? And you can just say that by decree?
Yeah, because I can tell you what a transistor is, and the sun is not a transistor.
So the sun is not emitting an electric current?
That's not what a transistor does. Do you know
why the sun isn't taking in an electric current?
Wait, the
sun isn't transferring an electric current and
Grim,
changing the charge.
I'm sure I could get Mehdi Sandovar in here, and he'd be smarter.
Do you know what? First of all, do you understand? Have you looked at the solar transistor theory?
Of course.
Okay, explain to us how the sun is a transistor that way. Then
we're not going to keep on taking the direction.
These are your claims. I had a physicist look into this. He's just like laughed at it.
Yeah, so it's solar capacitance theory, not so much transistor.
No, I didn't say solar capacitance.
Yeah, but
solar. Do you think?
Are you claiming that this? Are you claiming that that's the EU's theory?
Yes, it's part of E theory. Part of E theory is that the sun is a transistor. Well, actually, let me.
And what's so crazy about it? Go ahead and explain to us what's so crazy about that.
The EU proponents say it's a transistor. The guy that came up with the model, even he said it was just an analogy. I've read the paper. It wasn't a legit paper. It was something somebody wrote as an analogy to try to explain certain convections and current flows, like they're similar to a transistor. He never meant to say that the sun was a transistor, but EU theorists ran with it and say, "Oh, look, the sun's a transistor."
Really? Is that your final answer?
Well, what are the
as far as you've gone with it after that?
Transistor. And what's the amplification of a How do you even relate the sun to a transistor?
I mean, how do you not?
Oh my fucking god!
How do you not?
How do you not? Of course, yeah. How do you not? Jesus Christ! Oh, Jesus! Oh, Brenden, don't get scared off too easily. They're not
dear Jesus!
Like They're not.
Oh no, I'm fine.
Like oh God.
That's kind of funny though.
It's hilarious.
Usually when somebody says, "Hey, how do you compare this and this?" they don't respond with, "Well, they're so similar that you can't not." They in turn would then explain the similarities between the two.
Yeah, EU theory has been just kicked around so much because it's so comical. It really is comical. It's just a bunch of scientific jargon people throw out there that don't know anything about science. You're never going to find too many EU proponents that actually have ever taken a course in science, and most of them are the ones that actually promote the stuff in the Thunderbolts project are just loons.
Really?
Yeah. That's why they've never produced anything. They've literally produced absolutely nothing in the scientific literature.
You really think that the sun is explained perfectly in your little fusion model?
No, but most of it, and things that it did predict that we didn't know before we found. We didn't. There wasn't what's called the missing neutrinos, but you know what? Recently, wasn't that long ago, only a few years, we've discovered them. Oh my God, the model works.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's like a null hypothesis, really, because
a null hypothesis detecting neutrinos is a very specific
reversal. Yeah, you're reversing. You're saying, "Oh, look, this is right because of that," and that's really not so. Because the EU theory actually expects and predicts that same amount of neutrinos.
Why would EU theory based upon what?
Well, if there's two answers to a thing, you can't by decree say it's the other thing. And you love doing that in a standard model.
Why would
like your Einstein ring, for example?
Why
would claim that's proof of Einstein's gravitational?
Why would electric universe predict neutrinos?
Always blue.
Why would
chromatic aberration?
Why would EU theory predict neutrinos from the stellar core? Why?
They don't predict them from the core.
Okay, if then anywhere, where would they come from?
From the fission on the outside of the
from the
fission. On the fission.
Wait, shut up, baby! I swear to God, I will mute you right now. So I want to make this okay. So the fission that takes place.
Wrong word.
Oh, okay. So what is it then?
I said my bad.
Wrong word. So what?
Yeah. What's the right word?
What's the right word? What are you talking about?
Fusion.
Okay, fusion of what?
Hydrogen and helium.
Okay, and how does that work? I mean,
are you done? Are you done?
Well, I mean, I want you to explain this to us. These are your theories, man.
No, they're not.
Well, you're advocating this.
Why are we arguing this?
Because he's an idiot and we just play with him.
Well, no, I can't claim somebody else's.
Grim, like these. This is your position. That's what we're asking you to explain and defend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way he's asking the questions, I'm not able to tell the story, right?
Okay, you should try. I'm a complete neophyte in this, and I'm interested because this is obviously the topic. So convince me. I'm not against you. I don't know nothing. I know nothing about your theory.
He's not kidding.
Please convince me that it's true.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm actually very novice at this as well, at this particular theory. So I'm pretty green here too.
I will sit back and listen.
Right.
I'm willing to be persuaded. Do your best.
Well, the best I can really do is give you the information all in one place so you can look at it on your own time, because I'm not going to be able to.
Okay. Before I do that, you need to convince me that it's worth looking into. Let's put it that way.
By all means, to explain it to them, Grim.
Well, I'm not going to. That's like I said, I won't be able to.
Yeah, but there must be a good reason, a good argument why it is so. Like, if I wanted to convince you about, I don't know, quantum physics, I would go to, oh, this shit is amazing because it predicts so many properties of the universe to so many decimal places that it's unbelievable just by sitting down.
Would you go to Mr. Grimm to go learn about quantum physics?
No, Grimm.
No,
Grimm. It's not about that. Drift, it's not about that, Grimm. The big thing. No, can I explain, please? Can I explain, please?
And
the question is, why is it important?
Yeah, the whole crux of it is what Barney is saying here is why should we have the incentive to look at this? What is so important about this? Because for every one of you, there is 3 million others on the internet proposing random bullshit claims of, I don't know, anything about purple ponies fighting the universe into existence. Why should we pay them any credence, and why should we pay you any credence?
Well,
that's not a diss. That's a genuine question.
I can't tell you why you should pay. I mean, I don't know what's interesting to you. I can't tell you what's important to you or anything.
Well,
like
why
that.
is it interesting to you? What convinced you?
Exactly. There's a better question. But what's interesting to me about it is it shows a lot of the what are so-called anomalous effects and whatnot out here. They're showing them to be actual predictions in the electric model, right? So
okay.
Doesn't every kid want to know, like, why does a galaxy look like a galaxy? Why does it spin the way it spins?
All right.
I mean,
why
do we pay all this money for dark energy and dark matter when it's totally a vacuous, pun intended, science? It's got absolutely nothing to do with anything whatsoever. But ad hoc.
I got to unmute for a second. So they're asking you to explain your position, and you're just rambling on about other things now. Dark matter and dark energy have nothing to do with this topic. Can you explain to them? Can you explain to them EU, please? Because I'm curious what you think of it too.
Grimm, the big question I asked is, what differentiates your theory from everything else? Why is your theory so much more important? And so far, all you stated was that it predicts a lot of phenomenon. Now, I would like a little bit more specific. I would like a little bit more specific than that.
They're on stream. Why there's these magnetic stringing connections connecting these stars and galaxies, right? And galaxies together as well.
Can you be a bit more specific about that?
There's just
I've never heard of that. So
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of stuff. Exactly. Well, I mean, if you were proponents of the EU theory, you would, like, if you sub to the Thunderbolts project.
You first have to have reason to be a proponent of the EU theory.
Yeah, you can't already believe it and then actually
you have to believe it to go and visit it, right? I mean, that's a different thing altogether.
Well, that's the thing. We're asking you to convince us. You can't just simply say we should already believe it and then we look into it.
All right. An electric universe extends the findings of plasma cosmology basically to, like, the formation and evolution of stars and their planets and stuff like that. You know, stars are formed at the intersections of galactic currents, current filaments in dusty space plasma, right? So the size of a star and its color are determined electrically and may change suddenly. Okay, in this theory.
Okay, so we're devolving into, like, stellar. We're developing into.
Spawns.
Are you reading something?
Same time, I can't think and talk, listen to you at the same time.
Wait, hang on a second. Are you reading off something?
Explain what I know about the electric universe.
No. Yeah, I'm trying to nail down something a little bit more specific here.
From the start, baby start. I'm trying to explain from the very baby start to you what it is, so it's not, because I don't, I don't know who I'm talking to half the time. So if you're not going to listen to me while I'm saying it and talk over me, why would I be doing it? It doesn't make any sense.
Can I make a point, please? Can I make a point, please? Okay, this is Obad talking here. I just want to be able to nail down one specific topic, and I thought that you had already segued into one topic that we could have actually gotten our teeth into, and that was stellar formation. Now, obviously, the standard model is based on the accretion model, where a big giant cloud of gas, hydrogen and helium gas, would have collapsed in upon itself under the pressures of gravity, and eventually ignites via fusion.
Right.
Now, how is that how is that phenomenon explained in EU theory, and how is it different? And what observation should we observe that is different than what the standard model would actually give?
Okay. Well, there would be convection. You're missing convection on the sun. That's one that you're missing.
Wait, there's no convection on the sun?
Well, there's not much at all. There's not nearly enough for your model. That's for sure. And so there's the one thing. But the explanation as to how it would work in the EU theory is that the magnetism would restrict onto the current and create a double layer of plasma, which would be a capacitor, which would, and a lot of other things, transistor, and all kind of other fun stuff.
Well, real quick, can I tell you something?
It's called a Z-pinch.
Yeah, we know what Z-pinch is, and I also can tell you that the whole thing on convection actually was about 2 years ago. They actually discovered a mechanism dealing with what's called nanoflares. Are you familiar with it?
Oh, is that like a virtual particle?
No, no. That nanoflare.
It's not. It's not similar. It's not ad hoc.
No, because these are confirmed things. They've actually seen these.
Okay.
Right.
And it does.
And virtual particles are confirmed too. They're just not visual, because you don't understand it doesn't mean they don't exist. That's an argument from ignorance. But nanoparticles, nanoflares. The missing convection that you're talking about, which I'm familiar with, the model has been able to be explained now because of nanoflares. It was in 2015, published in Nature, I believe. So I do remember that. So yeah, the model that EU predicted, ergo, is wrong, because we've actually determined that the convection does match what we would expect. There you go.
But how would you
gravitational waves are real, and just like you determine the
hang on a second. Can we go back?
Sure.
Grim, can we not segue into yet another topic? This is like it just makes things really untidy here.
Shows he doesn't understand one thing, so he jumps.
The EU universe suggests that basically there aren't any isolated islands in space out here in the universe.
I was just asking. Come on, guys. I was just asking not to gish gallop, and we've just moved again.
I thought you were talking about cellular.
He's not going to stop gish
stellar formation.
I was talking about stellar formation. I'm trying to move the topic back to stellar formation here.
That's what I just was talking about.
Well, you went in saying about islands in the universe. Right. But anyway, in stellar formation, I was just wanting to know what in the EU theory actually, how does it actually predict these convections that you are suggesting?
So basically, like I was saying, proponents of the EU universe, electric universe, suggest that there's, no, what I say, isolated islands in the universe, in space, meaning that these stars are not bouncing around all on their own and having no effect on one another, and aren't in, they're not doing that, and there's no, spooky dark matter pushing them around to make them go into the slow them and speed them up, you know what I mean, to make the rotations of the galaxies what we observe.
What's this to do with convections in a star? I'm still confused about. I thought we were talking about. I thought we were.
Excuse me, convections.
Yeah, in the star.
About my convictions.
I thought we were talking about convection currents in stars.
Conviction. Well, no, but you're imagining that everything is about convection or whatnot. I'm talking about.
Wait. I can't let you go on that one. You're the one who brought.
Okay, wait a minute. Are you asking me? What are you asking me? Are you asking me to tell you the EU theory of the idea or the standard model theory of the idea?
Okay.
What are you asking me exactly?
All right. You're the one who brought up convections and how the standard model does not account for convections in a star accurately.
No, I said not enough convection. Right.
Okay, not enough convection. So okay, fine. So it does. The standard model does not account for what we observe, the convections that we observe. How does the EU theory explain this?
You're boxing the question into the EU theory is not requiring a bunch of convection because they're not having the same theory.
EU theory does not predict there's convections in a star?
No, they're not having as much convection. The convection, any convection that's going on in this star is definitely EU theory. It's definitely is. I don't understand your question. You're
okay. Does convection exist in stars?
Yeah, but not enough. That's the problem. Missing convection.
So
there's
do
not
we
enough for the standard model to be correct. That's the point. And then he's making up things, talking about well these
is
other.
Is that not what Steve
I did not make up that thing.
I'm just no.
Wait.
You didn't make it up. Just like I didn't make up the EU theory. Okay, I can say that. I can do that argument. Stop the argument every time when you do that. Your theory thing.
This is peer-reviewed scientific publication in Nature magazine, if I remember correctly, from 2015.
Dude, peer-reviewed is trash.
If you want to, people want to go look this up, knock yourself out. Go look up microflares, and it solves the convection problem. Okay,
right. Anything funding for more dark matter and dark energy.
Oh, so now it's this argument to incredulity. Okay, great.
Yeah, actually, it is, man. There's all of that as well. There's multiple arguments in this. Not just one argument.
Okay, so these papers with microflares explain the convection problem. So moving on from that, why would we expect anything different?
Just like you're going to learn soon enough, Steve, that you're not right, and you're really not right at all about this.
Anybody go check my facts on this, man?
Do you distrust the peer review process then?
Well, a lot of people do. I mean, shit. Richard Horton, chief and editor of The Lancet, distrust peer review. He told us about it. Remember,
is that not the basic foundation of science, though?
Yeah. Hang on a second. Hang on a second, guys. Okay. All right. So the vast majority of scientists working in the field, do they trust the peer review process?
Do they use it?
Yes.
Do they use it?
Scientific consensus.
No,
okay, so they use it. So why can't you write a peer review paper?
Of humans believe in Christ.
God.
I'm just saying.
Analogy. Holy shit, are you desperate?
You're using a fucking argument that just because a bunch of people believe in a thing, it must be
true. Hang on a second. No. We're not saying. Hang on a second. We're not believing in something. We use this process.
Actually, that's the problem. A lot of things in peer review cannot be repeated.
Okay, so Nature magazine is one of the top-rated magazines in the world.
Look it up. The problem with peer review. Just Google it real quick.
Yeah, no.
Peer reviews cannot be repeated. Okay?
Some of them can't. That's fine. I get that.
Yeah,
we have a big problem
that's acceptable.
Sure, whatever. But you're saying that Nature magazine, one of the most leading scientific magazines in the world, peer-reviewed journals.
Please give me a little respect when you talk to me instead of at me.
You don't deserve any respect. I'm sorry, Grim. You don't deserve respect. I've engaged. Let me finish. I've engaged with you for too long. You've always done this. You purport the most ridiculous things. You actually purport things that actually can kill people. I don't have respect.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, I'm not kidding you. I'm dead serious.
You are. You're kidding me. You are because you have
no,
to be.
I am not.
Look, you are.
Why do you think I'm kidding you? I'm just saying. I don't kill people. I have a video of talking to you about cancer.
You're lying. Now you're lying.
I'm
you're
lying?
Just completely said some stupid shit that just doesn't make any sense.
I'm lying.
No, hang on. Guys.
Accuse me of killing people. What the fuck is wrong with you, Steve? Come on, man.
Can we actually stop the dick swinging?
Are you a clown or something?
No, Grim. How about this?
Being a clown on your own show. What are you doing that for?
Listen very carefully.
It's too late, Abe. Let it happen.
Yeah, let it happen. Let it happen.
God damn it, guys.
I think you're right.
Respect
is supposed to be more respectful. People are supposed to be more polite than this.
I do not.
Yeah, but people need to earn respect.
Yeah, I do not respect Grim because he puts forth information that can cause the death of people. I do not respect that. Period. Now,
name one thing that causes. You don't look at the safety studies. You don't even read the studies that you're claiming.
Shut the fuck up while I say this, okay? Because I do not respect Grim. He promotes false information when it comes to cancer treatments that can lead to the death of people. I will not accept that on my channel. I will not accept it on the alternate channel. And I sure the fuck won't accept that from anybody promoting it in any hangout that I'm in. Period. Understand? Great. Moving on.
You mean chemotherapy isn't 97% death rate?
Get the fuck out. You're done. Get the fuck out. You're done. Don't ever come back to my hangouts again. I'm done. Sorry. I will not let him pull this bullshit. Ever again. Been there, done that. He advocates for.
That happened.
he advocates for Laetrile. He advocates for baking soda to go cure cancer. These things.
Wait, okay, right, okay. I must have missed this entire history then.
Well, there's a lot. Yeah, well, a lot of things people don't know. That's why I wanted to say, let me get this out. But when he starts going down this road, and I told him, I mean, first thing I said when he came in here, you're allowed to carry on the conversation with us, but do not ever go into what you talk about with. He knew what I was referring to. Okay, because I told him if he ever comes in one of my hangouts and starts mentioning anything about cancer of any kind, he's done. He's done. Now go watch a video I have on my channel called Steve McRae versus Grimm Cancer, and you see the bout of bullshit that he puts out. He and Hogtie and Fiona and a couple people at Hangout one day, and they're all like, this guy is fucking scary. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about in medical, in anything. He thinks cancer is literally, and I shit you not, he thinks this thing called pleomorphism, which is a real thing. Okay, pleomorphism is a change of shape. But he thinks pleomorphism, because he's an idiot and he doesn't know how to read stuff correctly, that cancer is a bacteria that has somehow changed pleomorph into a virus that has changed into a fungus, which is changed into a mold that produces spores that metastasizes.
What? Hang on a second.
Let me repeat that for you in case you did not hear that. This is clear. That cancer is a bacteria that changes to a virus, that changes to a fungus, that changes to a mold that spores and becomes metastasized.
I'm pretty sure whatever the fuck you just described isn't what killed my grandfather.
Are you sure it also didn't become a plant and an animal at the same time?
Yeah, this is the bullshit that Grimm puts out.
I'm pretty sure the cancer is also incredibly intelligent and knows what it's doing.
This is the bullshit that Grimm puts out. So, yeah, I have a history with him, and when he talks about this stuff and he wants to promote this misinformation, he's not going to do it anywhere near my channel. I banned him for the longest time. The only reason I let him back in because I wanted some lulls. As you can tell, he's just an idiot. But, he brings this stuff up every time, and he talks about respect. And I tell people, I have no respect for him. He's a death merchant. Simple as that. He's a death merchant.
Yeah, okay.
Now, do you know a little bit more backstory?
Topic now.
But Eulogy, do you at least understand my position and why I don't want him on my fucking channels?
No, I can understand, like, if he goes on to those kind of medical things that would definitely affect a lot of people in the real world.
Yeah, just keep blocking him. Get them the fuck away from my channel. I don't want Grimm anywhere near my channel.
Wasn't Kent Hovind doing that, or one of the Kens out there? That's
but Kent Hovind.
Kent Hovind was doing it because of he married an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, and Kent Hovind has never been on my channel promoting 17 or anything like that. But I mean, at least Kent Hovind, people already know Kent Hovind's a fucking moron. But Grimm has a channel and he puts out this misinformation all the fucking time. And it's just mind-boggling the amount of stupidity this person has. I mean, Brenden, in the limited time you saw him, did he have an appearance of him understanding a damn thing of what he was saying, of anything?
He gave the appearance that he was high as shit. He was
it's not much different.
Fucking rocker, which can't be too terribly far from that being normal.
Barney, stop! You're giving me a headache, Barney.
Sorry.
But chewing on something, Barney.
I don't know. But yeah, Grimm occasionally can start off just fine. That's why I'm like, okay, we'll give him a shot again. But as soon as he starts going down this bullshit about, respect whatever, and cancer and chemotherapy, I don't want to hear it. You're done. You're automatically a fuck out of my hangouts ever. I don't want to deal with that because he's just so fucking confused, and I mean, this is more of a backstory to this, and I don't. Well,
I just had flashbacks of C. Brown.
He's worse.
Z Pinch.
He's worse. Yeah, Z Pinch. Yeah. No, and I like.
Can somebody explain what that is, just out of curiosity?
Z pinch happens in plasma physics. What it does is it does a technique where you actually constrict the magnetic field such that you get very high temperatures and fusion can take place in that.
High temperatures and also high densities, and that would actually allow for a greater number of collisions.
Yeah, because what happens is it's fusion, and by the way, he said fission, which I laugh. But the more denser something is, right, the more reactions are going to take place. In my training, which was nuclear, it was fissions. But the principle remained that if you had a very dense material, right, the path of the neutron going through it will interact with more atoms. Each time it interacts with an atom, one, it slows down more. It's called lethargy, or average logarithmic energy decrement per collision. And two, once it slows into a thermal range, it's going to be absorbed by one of the other fissions material, which is usually uranium-235. That's how a self-sustained chain reaction works. And so the denser the material, the less mean free path, which is what it's called, it has to go by, which just makes sense, right? And the moderator is the same way. When water is denser and it's colder, right? What happens when water is colder? It's actually denser, right? Right. So the molecules are closer together. So if I have a neutron going through there and it's becoming thermalized, if I have more atoms that are closely together, each time it hits one, it doesn't have to go very far to hit another. And it's just losing energy each time. Lethargy, right? Or again, average logarithmic energy decrement per collision coefficient. They don't call that on the web that. They don't call that on Wikipedia. You're not going to find it called that way, but that's what we called it in nuke school. The 6-factor formula. But this is something that I could explain to you, right? Quite easily. I want Grimm to explain anything. Something.
I don't. I'd rather not.
You know,
I'd rather hear something from
last
anybody
time
coherent.
He killed people. No, last time he explained something, it was about cancer, wasn't it?
Last time he explained something, we jumped from stellar formation to plasma to convection in the sun to respect to cancer. I don't understand how this is coherent.
It's just all it's just one big guess gallop after another, right?
Yeah, man, that went downhill fast.
It was so bizarre.
Hill,
yeah,
I think
so there was no specificity at all. It's just very, very general stuff that was pieced together. I'm just reminded of this jigsaw puzzle, and he's just simply slamming pieces in there with a sledgehammer.
Yeah. Well, now you know why I just have to laugh at Grimm, but it gets to the point where I can't deal with him anymore when he starts pulling this. Oh, well, Steve doesn't respect for me. Well, you're right. I make no bones about that. I think you're a piece of shit. I think you're a death.
You can't say we didn't give him a fair chance.
I did give him
like
I was trying to be nice.
I was sitting here quiet, and Steve was railing on him, and everybody was giving him a chance.
I don't have to be nice to somebody that I've gotten that much history with. I mean, I tried.
I mean, it had to be.
Yeah, no, but I tried. I mean, I said, look, all you got to do is answer these questions. These are your things that you're promoting.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with flat earthers. I'm promoting this. Okay, promote it. Oh, I don't know anything about it.
Go watch a video, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I hate to say this, but I never thought I'd see the day where I see somebody that I respect less than flat earthers, but that's somebody who promotes alternative cancer cures as cures, right? I think they're worse because flat earthers are kind of harmless. They're stupid, but for the most part, they're harmless.
But the alternative medicine people.
Yeah, no, he thinks baking soda cures cancer.
I mean, I have a lot of that. I'm gonna go to the hospital. Be right back.
Oh, Vincent says Grimm is a flat earther. Really?
Oh, that would have been so much better of a conversation.
That is just going to be the icing on the cake.
Are you sure about this, Vincent? Oh, he was. Oh, he might have been. You know what? I think you might be right. I think I do remember back years ago he was a flat earther, I think. Yeah.
What about that dude Tex who thought the moon was a bowl?
God. Oh,
I'm curious. When do you get these? How do you get these people?
Where
do they come from?
Text came about because of a rum and coke night.
Yeah, we kind of fished for him, for somebody.
And and then Tex comes in, and he was there 3 times, and
I've been on the net for a while now, and I thought I've seen it all, but occasionally something strange that I haven't seen.
Yeah, but new stuff is coming out, Steve.
But again, I got history with a lot of these people, and he asked where we find these people. They find us. I mean, I get how many messages a day, and most of them are pretty decent. And then I get the one that's way off the wall. Well, that one off the wall, I'm like, okay, why don't you come on and why don't you just discuss why you think why we're so wrong, right? And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Not always. That's why I met Calzer, because he's kind of an idiot. No, Calzer, I'm sorry, I'm not. I love you, Calzer. Calzer's cool. I'm just kidding. He's an anti-flat earther. I got your back, Cal.
Dude,
he's gonna come in. He's gonna come in here and start screaming at you.
I honestly hope aliens come to Earth because I want to introduce them to Earth. Like, hey, welcome to the place where people think the place is flat.
Oh, and Vincent says that he kept bringing up EU theory back when he had a discussion with Reds. I don't doubt that. I mean, I've known he was an EU theorist for quite some time, but
hang on a sec. Can you actually be an EU theorist and a flat earther at the same time?
they're not mutually exclusive, I don't think.
Well, nothing is mutually exclusive with something that's so dispersed and incoherent.
Yes,
you can put in gods in there and unicorns and
stop playing Minecraft and get in here, Calzer.
Well, yeah. I mean, like he was talking about glow mode of all sakes. I had no bloody clue. What the hell is he talking about?
Hey,
there?
I was in here and playing Minecraft.
Yeah, I
don't have my computer with me. I cannot play Minecraft. I am a cube earther.
I have to know, Barney. Where are you from?
Croatia.
I'm moving there.
Why?
It sounds awesome. His accent is amazing when he says SJW.
Say SJW.
SJW?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to get people chanting it.
W.
But like here's the thing, like, you know, I had to look up alpha wave. I wasn't familiar with the term, right? And I'm one of those people. Look, if I'm not familiar with something, I am full on like, yes, I'll look it up, right? But I have ability to understand things. As soon as I saw magnetohydrodynamics, okay, I'm like, I don't have to know the specificities of the wave. I know a little bit about magnetohydrodynamics. And he doesn't even know what that was. And I'm like, wait a minute here. You're trying to explain to me an Alfvén wave, and yet you don't know what magnetohydrodynamics is. And by the way, it's not that hard. Magnetohydrodynamics simply is a magnetic water, magnetic fluid. It's some kind of magnetic fluid in a containment that acts as a way to constrict it to push the fluid through it. For in other words, in a submarine, the way the magnetohydrodynamic drive system will work is that the magnetoferric water, it actually, instead of like water that doesn't normally
like ferrofluid.
Well, water normally doesn't really affect by magnetics, right? But
yeah,
but you can make it such, right? And so the magnetic field pushes the water through. It's basically a very, very quiet system, because basically it just uses magnetic fields. It brings the water in. It just pinches it. It goes a higher velocity because it increases kinetic energy, and then it shoots out the back, and that propels the ship. So they're called magnetofluids, and you just basically make these fluids into something of the magnet. They react to magnetics, right? So they call magnetofluids. That's magnetohydrodynamics in a nutshell.
Is that what ferrofluid was for, or was that like a space engineering thing?
I think a ferrofluid, if not mistaken, is actually a colloidal, where you have ferrous in solution in.
Yeah, it's magnetic water.
Yeah, but isn't it colloidal?
I don't know.
Which are just basically big pieces of iron in there, basically.
Yeah.
Well, they're not big, but I mean,
very oily. Like you get it on your fingers and it stings.
Yeah, it's probably a colloidal solution, because colloidal silver is like bigger things of silver in a solution rather than individual atoms.
Yeah, because I heard that it started as an easier way to keep fluids on like a spaceship, like a fuel fluid. I heard that. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so it says colloidal. Yeah, okay, I thought so.
What I'm really curious is how in the actual hell did we get on the subject of EU in the first place? Because we started off talking about the Big Bang. Where did you get it from?
I think he was trying to explain like against it.
Yeah.
The Big Bang.
Yeah.
And he brought up that as something that disproves the Big Bang or something.
Well, the very first thing you say about the Big Bang, it's something from nothing. You're already
out. That's just wrong.
Just out of curiosity, how would you explain it? Just bare bones, minimal.
What, Big Bang?
Yeah.
Big Bang is a time after Planck's time where the universe expanded at an exponential rate, actually a very, very fast rate. The very beginning, called an inflation period, was about 10 to the negative 32nd or 37th. I'm sorry, 37th.
That's inflation.
That's inflation.
Big Bang is. But Big Bang is the moment before the Planck time.
But this is the stages after the Big Bang.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
Okay. So then after the Big Bang, you have the inflationary stage. Then I think it's the recombination period, which is the period where you have the hydrogen atoms that can combine with the electrons because you have an opaque universe at the time.
And do you have the microwave background radiation formed?
Hang on.
You skipped over all the epochs.
Yeah, you skipped over all the epochs. What happens is the photons are flying around and they cannot go anywhere because of this big opaque cloud of hydrogen ions, protons and electrons. During the recombination period, they actually joined with each other and the atoms started forming. And then the photons could be released. And that sudden burst of light we see as the
microwave background radiation.
The microwave background radiation. So when he's talking about like the Big Bang, we say, hey, the Big Bang predicts that because of the recombination period, we would see this flash of light that exists now, the remnants, and it should be around 2.75 Kelvin. We can test for that. And what's really funny is we didn't discover the cosmic microwave background radiation through a test. It was on pure accident, but it still was a discovery. Right. And so that confirmed the model, because what's the odds of predicting we should find this ubiquitous microwave background radiation in the entire sky at a very specific temperature of 2.73 Kelvin? The original, I think they predicted it at 2.7 something.
I think the first rough guesstimate was around 5. Around 5K.
Yeah, it was pretty gross, right? I mean, let's say 3 to 5 Kelvin. Was that 2 to 5 Kelvin? I know, something like that. It was a pretty broad range.
They gave a range of like 2 to 5, yeah. But the mean at the time was around 5.
Yeah,
I think Doc made a very good video about it, explaining the microwave background.
You know what's funny is Grim would have had a better argument if he actually had learned about this stuff and actually took the time to read about it.
You know, I find it funny that, you know, the difference in explanations for you, like the bare bones explanations you give for this thing. You give me like a paragraph. He's like 3 words.
Well, I actually kind of do understand a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I not only do I try to understand it, I want to be able to explain to people. But this is what I'm trying to say, that he would have had a better argument if he would have talked about what's called the fine structure constant in relationship to the cosmic microwave background radiation. Here's a little fun thing for you. There's been studies that show, and I'll explain why this actually kind of is, but if you look into one part of the sky, okay, that the alpha, which is called the fine structure constant, which is how it affects everything else in the universe, basically. It affects the speed of light, it affects electric magnetic constants. It just is a big deal. In one direction, it seems to be a little higher variance positive. Okay. In the other direction, like from Australia, it has a slightly negative variance. Now, this shouldn't happen because the sky is supposed to be this homology, right? It's supposed to be this
homogeneous.
Homogeneous, yeah, not homology. It's homogeneous. You don't have to switch from genetics to astrophysics, right? It's homogeneous, right? Meaning that there's an equal mixture of everything. I swear to God, I hate switching between topics because I was just talking about genetics earlier. Okay, so what these anisotropes are basically they're places where the delta of the cosmic microwave background radiation temperature is too high of a variance than what it should be. And again, it's plus one direction minus the other direction. And this is only demonstrated to about significant alpha, should be significant difference of a standard deviation of 3. Okay. And to be a scientific discovery, it needs to be a scientific deviation of 5 in physics. So whenever they discover a particle, it has to be within 5 standard deviation of confidence level.
5 is a confirmation, 6 is a certainty, right?
Yeah, 5 is the minimum for confirmation, 6 is certainty, 3 is kind of cool, but it's 99.999998 or something, right? But 5 is a lot. 5 is pretty good.
It's something ridiculously small, but that's also assuming a normal distribution.
Well, let's always assume a normal distribution for this. But yeah, but it's pretty ridiculously small. But anyways, it's something interesting because even at 3 standard deviations, sure, it's not confirmed, but it's interesting. It's just like why does one side have something different than the other side? It should be equal all the way around. Right. That would have been a better argument for Grimm, but he's not aware of that because he doesn't read any of this stuff.
I have heard maybe something else, but I've heard that on one side it's slightly redshifted, and on the other side because our movement through the universe creates.
Yeah, but that's because of our movement towards the great attractor.
Right, but that's
not a problem
altogether, though. That shouldn't. Yeah. That's an anomaly as well. The great attractor is an anomaly, right?
The thing is that you can calculate static position in relation to the background radiation, right? If you equalize that redshift and that blue shift, you can calculate our speed, and you can find out what the static position towards the background radiation would be. Yeah. And then you find out that the rest of the universe is moving in one direction towards something outside.
Right, and I've heard various theories of what the great attractor is, and by the way, as Eulogy points out, it's 3 standard deviation is still 99.7%. Now, a lot of this stuff has to be. This, you guys remember Z? Where you have to actually, like, for distribution, you actually have to factor in your Z score, and you have a little chart, and you look in your how many degrees of freedom you have, and you're like, okay, blah blah blah. Yeah, we all had a different stats. Yeah, it sucks, but but basically, I think 99.7 is 3 standard deviations on most things, right? Depending on your Z score. But I hated stats. I will never do stats ever again. I hate it. But whatever.
No, your Z score in that case will be 0.27?
I thought it'd be 0.
It'd be 0.27. No, it'll be 0.27. It's the inverse of the 9973.
No, that's not. But that's not the. No, because when I'm thinking of the Z score is basically on the degrees of freedom. You have a little chart. You have 0, 1, 2, 3. Then you can go over and you say, okay, it's actually 99.72 or 99.75.
You're talking about a chi-square distribution then, because a normal distribution will not have degrees of freedom.
Oh, it would be a chi-squared. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Z score doesn't have degrees of freedom, does it?
I'm scared right now.
Yeah. Well, this is why I hate stats. I mean,
stats is a pain in the ass.
You learn it and you forget it. But I did chi-squared and whatever. Okay. Long story short, it's still pretty good estimation. But yeah, if you want statistics, get Sam or get Landon, right? Now, yeah, he's at the tables.
I'm very good without this information. Thank you.
Yeah. So okay, so this is done in the left-hand side, but the standard the degrees of freedom. Now this isn't the degrees. This is a normal distribution curve.
It's wrong. It's a wrong chart.
It's what?
It's not the right chart.
This is the chart that I was thinking of.
Aye.
We've lost the live chat completely. They're talking about video games.
They're talking about stats, and they said, "Fuck you."
Well, standard deviation. I mean, okay, like one standard deviation is like, okay, I'm gonna try to get this right. 66.7. No, 66 point something. Oh God, what's the rule? Fuck my life. It's been so long. I
don't want to fuck you.
Come on, Urology, help me out here. I'm sinking here. Was it 60, 66? 95, 97. Eulogy, you're letting me sink here, dude. And I'm not even going to look it up. I think it's 67 or 66 or 67, 95, and 99.7 is the standard deviation from 1, 2, and 3.
You can look. You can look it up if you want.
You just tell me.
It was like 68.7. The first one. Second one is 95.75. And the third one is 99.73.
Okay. Is that what it is? What I said is close.
Oh man, statistics versus Pokemon.
It's okay. It's called the 68, 95, 99.7 rule. That's what it's called. Have you ever heard of that?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to infer. I couldn't think of the rule. Here, I put Wikipedia. It's called the 68, 95, 99.7 rule. It's shorthand to remember the percentage values that lie within a band are around the mean in a normal distribution with a width of 2, 4, 6 standard deviations, respectively. Okay. That's the curve that I remember. But anyways, wow, I hate this shit. But anyways, Brenden, can you see that we're not all morons like Brenden? I hope, please don't.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
I mean,
I took basic physics
I'm a moron.
back in high school, and I remember some of the shit that you're talking about, and I remember hating the fuck out of it. But
I mean, back in high school, I was like super religious, so I ignored my science teacher.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, you don't have to remember this stuff. That's the whole great thing, right? I would have to look up the rule, but I knew what it was. I've heard of it. It's all I kind of care about. Look, I don't think people have to know this shit. I don't. I think it's kind of superfluous information. You never have to use it for anything. It's just nice to have. I mean, it's just extra information for us. But I think that most of us have been exposed to this kind of stuff. But people like Grimm and G-Man and Nephilim Free, they don't even have the basics. They don't know any of this stuff. How hard was it for fucking Eric to not understand that scientific theories don't get proven?
Oh, Jesus.
At least you know.
He has
at least you know what you need to look up.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to look it up.
Thank you. I know what to look for. I go, okay, I know this rule's out there. I know it's like 60. I know it's 95, 97, whatever. It took me 2 seconds to find it. Oh, okay. Now it's a 68, 95, 99.7 rule. That's it. That's fine. As long as I can look something up when I need it, I'm good.
Yeah. They don't know how to look it up. Look at G-Man. He for his claim about the giants cover-up.
Yes.
He cites a mock journal and YouTube videos.
Kalzer, you have no feelings to hurt, but I love you, man. Don't worry, man. I got your back, Kalzer. Don't worry. Come on in, man.
He didn't cite YouTube videos. He cited results of a YouTube search.
Explain. No. Tell Brenden the bigger picture. Tell him where he got. Tell him just give him the nuts and bolts of the debate that he had. This is hilarious.
Okay, so there was a debate about is evolution a real science, and this guy brings up the following arguments: Lucy is not a transitional fossil because she has been tampered with by the scientists who have uncovered her. Her knee was uncovered 1 year apart from her body and 1 mile away.
And this completely invalidates the idea that
completely invalidates evolution. Second argument, there is a conspiracy by the world's museums to hide the fact that people have been discovering giant skeletons. And he brings up an article which says that which museum was it?
The Smithsonian.
The Smithsonian Museum has been destroying these skeletons since the 1900s.
Oh, and I'm sure this is completely scientific source, right?
Oh, completely.
So that's one source, and also here's this screenshot of YouTube results to the search giant skeletons.
So it must be true.
That's legitimate argumentation. Okay, so the guy that was arguing with him looks up the article that he's been showing and scrolls to the bottom of the page, and on the bottom of the page it says, "This is a satirical site. Any similarity between the people and events mentioned in these articles is purely coincidental."
Yeah, it came from a place called World News Daily Report. Are you familiar with The Onion?
Nope, not really.
The Onion is a pretty popular satirical news site. I mean, they're just so outlandish. It's like, like such
idiots to understand.
Yeah,
it's curious.
It's hilarious. It'd be like, scientists discover pigs can fly.
We throw them hard enough.
Yeah, it's just weird shit.
With the correct propulsion.
But World's New Days.
I mean, let's just put one out right now. The first article that I've just scrolled up from The Onion: millions of mums set out on pilgrimage to Premium Outlet Center.
Pick up a pig. Yeet.
So World News Daily.
Gerbil running late will have to eat her own babies on the go.
What the hell?
Yeah, these are clearly satirical.
What weird abuse shit are you looking at?
They even have
This is the Onion
at the bottom. Well, the Onion is the same site. I mean, the same type of news source, right?
Trump boys sadly released pet alligator into Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool.
Here, I like this one. Israeli archaeologists uncover proof Judas smoked marijuana.
Ah.
That's prime knowledge right there.
Yeah,
that's relevant information.
so this is the dumb fuckery that good old G-Man had, because he doesn't do any due diligence. He doesn't know how to vet any source, right? And so when we heard this, we all knew this story. We've been around a very long time. There's not an argument against evolution we probably haven't heard before. And we were just, the cringe factor was heard around the world. It was just like everybody just had this collective sigh of like, oh, fuck.
Oh,
I like how he complained about that we were all talking about the satirical website he cited, and his response to that, but I also cited YouTube videos. Oh my god!
You know what's even better, Nestle? What I thought was a greater degree of dumbfuckery was when Ronnie tried to defend it, going, just because it was on a satirical news source doesn't mean it was satirical.
Yes, that's the genetic fallacy.
That's what he called
just because it was written as a fictional piece doesn't mean it's fictional.
It doesn't mean it's wrong. It could still be true.
Well, we know that Ronnie's not a scientist. That's why he's not always not always wrong.
No. As I said, the debate was is macroevolution a science?
Hang on, buddy. Get
right?
Get the quote right.
And
oh god, Barney, Barney, your timing is bad.
Sorry.
Get the correct joke because we're laughing. This is funny. He said, I'm not making this shit up, Brenden. He said, just because I'm not a scientist does not mean I'm not an idiot.
What? Hold on.
Just pass that one out. Just pass that one out slowly. No, that was Ron. No, Ronnie.
He said because he's not a scientist, it doesn't mean he's not an idiot. We're like, we agree.
No, I'm an idiot for other reasons.
Oh god. These guys, I can't make this shit up, dude. These people have the most dumb degree of fuckery. There's actually an award called Dumb Fuck of the Year that we actually give out once a year.
Oh, that's fantastic.
The first year winner was G-Man.
G-Man.
The second one was Duranism.
Flat Earther.
Flat Earther. Third one was Ronnie. And I think this year it's probably going to be a toss-up between C. Brown and Antonio Fletcher. By the way, I ran into C. Brown tonight.
Mr. ID is not even in the running?
He will be, I think. We can't determine he has a mental defect. So if we can't determine that, he's game. But the thing is, like tonight, I ran into C. Brown, and I actually wanted to have a conversation with him. But have you ever tried having a conversation with somebody in Nephie's room? Yeah,
I've never been in Nephie's room. Okay,
you can.
Good luck with that. I finally said I'm just done. I'm like, you're not letting me talk. You're not letting Ruth talk. You're bloviating like you always do. You know, I was kind of hoping that you would change a little bit, but you're the same old Nephie. I don't really want to engage anymore because you won't even let me say anything.
Is he still as snoozeworthy as usual?
Oh,
with that droning voice,
monotone voice. Okay,
yeah, that keeps on going forever
and ever. That never stops and just keeps on saying the same things over and over again, even though you have no idea what he's saying.
Eventually, he's going to turn into Droopy from the Looney Tunes.
That sounds like true.
Yeah, just because I'm not a scientist, it doesn't mean I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's what the exact quote.
It doesn't mean I'm not an idiot.
It doesn't mean I'm not an idiot. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, Cows, you got the quote wrong. It doesn't. He said, "It doesn't mean I'm not an idiot." Fix your shit, Cowser. Oh yeah, the things we have. We're having another award ceremony just before the dumb fuck of the year. Though that happens at the end of the year, December 31st. It starts, and then on November, I think. What is it? January 7th or something? We have it, but we have another one called the Ronnie's coming up. You're more than welcome to attend. Should be a lot of people for that one. I'm trying to get some big names to come in and give out awards for that. I love you too, Calzer.
Calzer, come in, say it in person.
Calzer, little buddy, come on in. You got to come in, buddy. Dude, we love you, man.
I don't love him.
So,
Rob, there's no need to actually go GoFundMe to Ronnie and G-Man to go to a museum because G-Man's already been to a museum and he fucked that one up.
Vincent Jones says, I still think Nephilim Free is insane as the best video about Nephi ever. Yeah, that was DPR's Jones video.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And I actually told DPR Jones many times because he comes in all the time. I'm like, dude, that's still my favorite video. That video is awesome.
You straight up eat a piece of paper, right? No.
Yeah, but more so, the video content was him. The Nephilim Free is insane video was Nephilim Free trying to justify the story in the Bible where the bears.
Oh no, yeah.
That's the video.
I was thinking about another video where he eats a paper and pretends to be an evolutionist for some reason.
No, this one was basically him saying, and the bears came to eat the kids because the kids had the wrath of God, and that the bears carried out the justice, that the kids should not have made fun of the prophet's bald head. It's just.
That is fucking as pedophile as fuck there. God damn it.
He's creepy, dude.
Yo, you want to know the best way to ruin like a Christian gay protest? Join it, but join it in a bad way. So, like they're walking around with their Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve signs. You walk up with a Lot and his daughters, not Lot and his sons sign.
Well,
yeah, I saw that one.
I'm still trying to figure that out. If God took a rib, if God took a rib from Adam, how was it Eve had a X chromosome? She would have been male.
I mean, God, magic.
Then why did he need to take the rib if he's just going to rework the entire genetics anyways?
Because ting ting, walla walla, bing bang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the story just doesn't make sense to me. Like I said, I'm not an atheist. I believe a creation is good possible, but not the way that narrative works.
No, but then again, you can basically say that Jesus was exactly the same thing as well. He was born of a virgin, and he would only have 2 X chromosomes.
Yeah.
No, he was not born to a virgin. 3 men showed up to his birth.
Who is the father?
Actually, Jesus would have been a female because of parthenogenesis, right?
Yeah.
Because parthenogenesis has a female offspring. But see, Brenden, see how many different subjects we have to fucking deal with?
Oh, there's so much. No wonder Jesus had such a long, nice hair.
Yeah, I was just about to go straight to say
this would have been so much nicer of a conversation to have for the last 2 hours instead of rambling on about the electronic universe. So much more entertaining.
I asked you if we wanted to go in that rabbit hole. I told you I knew that was hanging.
Oh, see, I didn't.
Yeah.
I figured it would be like about, I don't know, about half the size that it was.
Been there, done that. So I was like, okay,
take about 30 minutes, not an hour and a half or 2 hours.
I thought we were going to talk about the Big Bang.
But I mean, I'm just reeling because Eric Wolfbitn Jewell just kicked my ass tonight, right? That's
I was talking about. See on Facebook. If you go to Facebook, he actually posted in that same post that me and him were posting in.
Yeah.
And it said, did not go well.
No.
Who is this guy? Eric?
Wait, he said it didn't go well?
Yeah, he posted in that same post that we have like 130 comments in.
I think it went well. He's no longer here, is he?
Well, no, different person. What do you mean?
Oh, never mind.
He said it didn't go well as far as that. What he thinks that we didn't do a good job.
No, it literally said this didn't go well for Steve. Oh,
okay. Yeah. You know what's funny is every time people say that, I get more subs because they're like, "Yeah, you're an idiot." I mean, it's seriously, I'm not even lying. Every time somebody's put out some negative shit about, "Oh, look at Steve, he didn't do well in the discussion," I've gotten more subs because they actually watch the damn thing and they go, "Yeah, what the fuck?" I've only had 2 debates.
Steve, stop the pretense. We all know you're just butthurt because you got your butt kicked.
I know.
You got busted.
I suck at these topics.
You got dragged around like a cowboy tied to a horse.
Ooh. Now you're just trying to turn
who is this guy? And Steve, who is this guy, and what kind of crackpot beliefs does he have?
Okay, so the entirety of his argument at the very beginning was he was saying, well, there was a couple different arguments, but the one that he was trying to make that all three of us were a part of was that every religious worldview has to follow under one of three categories: theist, atheist, or agnostic. Every single one of them. And he was trying to make it as black and white as that.
Yeah, by the way, 31 people watching is not bad for 2:30 in the morning. Thank you guys. Seriously, I mean that with my heart. But yeah, no, what he didn't understand, Nestle, was that there are a lot of theological positions out there, right? And I even asked him, I said, well, where do you put it in a theological non-cog? Oh, they're agnostic. What? How the hell is a theological non-cog agnostic?
I mean, I guess you'd call me agnostic too, and I guess I kind of am, but
I don't care what I call somebody. I care what they call themselves and why they call themselves that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think most atheists who call themselves atheists are agnostics in my way I'm looking at it. But if they want to call themselves atheists, I don't care. But they really don't espouse what I think is what, you know.
I call myself a non-theistic pagan, and that's because, you know, I think Odin speaks wisdom, but, you know, I don't believe he exists necessarily. Look at this. He's got some solid advice.
Would he also be considering polytheists as just simply straight out theists? Or like deists, would they also be theists as well? I mean, that doesn't quite make any sense.
Probably. I mean, okay, I personally think deist and polytheist are a subset of theism. However, if someone wants to make the argument that theism is a interactive God and it's like the Christian, you know, theism, I understand that as well. That's how, like, you know, what's his name? Dr. Kenny Rhodes, he takes it that way too. And at first we had a disconnect because I was like, wait a minute, deism is just a type of theism. He's like, no, it's not, Steve. And I'm like, oh, okay, here's a guy with a PhD in philosophy, or I mean theology, telling me I'm wrong. Why am I wrong? And we sussed it out and we kind of figured out, well, neither one of us were wrong. In one way, it is a theist, you know, under theism, and in the Christian position, it's not. Simple as that. I'm like, okay, as long as I understand what your position is, I don't give a fuck what you put under, right? In his worldview, deists fall under theism. I'm okay with that. That should be deism. Don't fall under theism. They fall under atheism. Believe it or not.
Yeah, well,
or non-theism at least. Yeah, be non-theism, I guess.
Well, that means never mind.
Yeah, I mean that's I would understand it if you actually broaden the category of theism out to include deism, but not with theism. No, not with atheism.
Yeah, it would be atheism. It would be not.
I call it classical theism, the belief in the personal.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Classical theism, right? And so, in that regard, classical theism, deist would be under non-theist because they're not atheist, even though they have a belief claim, right? Yes. Everybody, nobody, what? Just say yes.
Oh, great.
Sure.
Congratulations,
yes, Almighty
Steve. You've ruined my sleep.
Your wisdom is infallible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do like to suss out what people's positions are. I mean, Ozzy kind of chastised the other day saying, you know, like, we're not really chastised. He said, don't worry about trying to, you know, come up with an actual label for everything. But I want to, but it's nearly impossible because in philosophy, for every one thing you pick, there's a tension with something else. And so you cannot have a perfect, coherent position on everything. You can't in philosophy. It's just not possible. There's always a tension on something else. But I want to be as close to what I think is the correct position to be that comports with reality. That's all.
Yeah, I was so hurt when Ozzy presented the schizophrenic worldview of hard determinism and liberalism. That's me. I'm the schizophrenic one.
So you waver between libertarian and hard determinism?
No, I think they're compatible.
How the fuck are they compatible? Wait. Oh, that's why
people think communism's compatible with the world.
That's why I get it. That's why he calls it a schizophrenic thing. I get it. Because they're not compatible, dude. One's a compatibilist position, one's an incompatibilist position.
How is it compatible?
No, libertarian falls under compatibilism, and hard determinism falls under incompatibilism, doesn't it not? Or do I have it backwards?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I have to look it up.
But either way, figure
you can't have both of them. It doesn't work that way.
Can't have your cake and eat it.
No. Yeah. It is fully determinist, only I cannot discern it because I'm moving through time in one direction and I'm in one spot. Future will happen as it will happen, and I cannot do anything about it. But it seems like I can, so I might as well try.
You're the ultimate pessimist.
Yeah, I am.
Yet somehow you're happy in life.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I guess. I don't know.
It's liberating.
Mm.
I'm not the kind of a pessimist who goes, oh, it's all shit. No, it'll happen.
Yeah, it'll happen. Why fucking try and stop it? Let's enjoy the ride. Whee! When you're on a roller coaster,
I can try and stop it.
To get off.
Yeah,
I can try and stop it, but I won't be disappointed when it happens.
Yes, and compatibilism is that you have free will that's compatible with determinism, right?
Okay.
And libertarian free will doesn't take into account determinism. So libertarian free will, would that be an incompatibilist position? I still get these things confused, even after all these years, because I just don't care that much about this particular aspect of philosophy.
Yeah, it's all of it is inconsequential to real life, to everyday life.
Yeah, I don't think it really makes a difference either, to be honest with you.
All right, I gotta go to sleep.
Fun conversation.
I gotta get up here in like fucking 4 hours or so, something like that.
Yeah, we're gonna call this tonight too, because I got to get the rest. But anyways, Brenden, thanks for joining the GDC, and I look forward to having actually some good conversations with you.
Oh hell yeah, this seems actually really interesting. Like once we actually have conversations about certain subjects, like if you get somebody on that actually has a single clue of what the fuck they're talking about.
Oh, you'll learn to love the other guys as well.
I don't.
At the wiki, you did look at the wiki page, and you kind of know who's the smart ones and who's the dumb fucks.
Wiki page. Yeah, you're right. Can we do that? We got our own wiki page. Do you know that? A wiki domain. Really? We actually have our own domain for our Great Debate too. So I'll just give you our domain. You can get the wiki page from there. But yeah, we are www.greatdebatecommunity.com, and yeah, we're going, dude. We've known all over the world actually, and so we go to that page and you can find the wiki, and the wiki can tell you all the information about the major players, and it's all written by us, obviously, and it's funny, it's good, it's pretty brilliant, I gotta admit.
If you're into serious stuff, look into Ozymandias Ramses II, and maybe Dreadnought and Steve. And if you're into the cookie stuff, look into G-Man and True Empiricism and Mr. ID, Mr. Intelligent Design, the Clown Car Posse.
Yeah, we have that title with the Clown Car Posse.
Yeah,
that's fucking beautiful.
Wait, is Mr. ID now officially part of the Clown Car Posse?
No, yes. He actually got taken off. No, he got taken off.
He's
got taken off.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on where exactly is he? Is he in the
He's on probation
list?
No, I don't know where to put him.
I think he's on the normal members list.
He probably is, but he's
yes, he is.
He's a special case. I don't know where to put him. I mean, he is a Clown Car Posse member in all aspects, but unfortunately, people want to give him special dispensation because he at least has a model. It doesn't work, but he at least has a model. That's more than any other Clown Car Posse there. So
that's not a model. God,
dude,
God, that's not.
And he has an experiment.
He has an experiment.
Yeah, but so
experiment.
does Ed.
Fuck that.
Before you go, the experiment is this. He drives. Yes.
Hey, wait. Hang on a second. Get an oven mitt ready. Get an oven mitt ready because you're gonna you are literally going to plant your face into it.
I'm gonna try to say this with a straight face. This is how he proves intelligent design. He has dropped eggs through tissue paper, and each time it falls through, he'll add another piece of tissue paper, and to the point it doesn't fall through anymore. And somehow, to him, he has solved a problem, demonstrating that intelligent design is real.
That's such a strawman argument. Can I present his case, please?
There's no difference what you're going to say.
I know it doesn't, but at least present it right.
Oh my God.
Barney, I'd love to actually see a Croatian Filipino accent here as well.
Oh my God.
This is why we're known all over the world. We have some of the craziest motherfuckers that we deal with, man.
That's fucking
Man,
great. I'm really curious. I want to know what his justification is.
Well, his justification is that you need 7 sheets of paper.
Did you saw his debate with Arnois?
He keeps calling him shit.
Oh, fuck no. No.
And you can see Aaron's face when he explains his tissue paper experiment.
Yeah,
and
6 sheets of paper is enough to stop an egg, and that's mindless evolution. But if you put 12 sheets of paper, then that proves intelligent design, because probability of that is more than 3.
This is what he's not exaggerating. What the fuck? You know who Ken Hovind is? Oh, of course you do. You watch.
Oh God!
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I watched the Ken Hovind King Crocodile debate. That is actually one of my favorite debates. I like that.
But Ken Hovind actually had a discussion a couple weeks ago with this guy. He left. He just left. He's like, this guy's more crazy than I am. I'm out of here.
This is too crazy even for me.
Yeah.
Yo, Steve, didn't Mr. Intelligent Design leave?
What?
Didn't Mr. Intelligent Design leave? I think I heard somewhere that he just sort of raged.
No, I don't think so.
Edgar raged?
Edgar.
I thought that'd be hilarious.
Edgar doesn't get upset. He has like one level of he's not. He can never be like bipolar. He's just like monopolar. Just straight extreme.
The chillest man alive.
I think maybe we got to the Great Debate Community Wiki, where he ruined some of our pages. He wrote an evolution page, and he wrote on the flat earth page some crazy shit. And I blocked him for a week, and he never came back.
Yeah, we can. The nice thing about the wiki is it literally takes 5 minutes to restore anything. So
yeah,
because we all know how to do it now. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. So Nestlig and Cyborg, Brenden, Barney, and Abade, thanks for joining us tonight. A late night hangout. It was fun. I laughed. I like these late nights. It wasn't on my main channel, which was fine. It was.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this was enjoyable.
Thank you for ruining my sleep schedule.
I'm going to crash myself. Actually, I'm very tired. But
well, now you can just dream about eggs for the rest of the night.
I will.
You guys know on my regular channel, I do this thing where I pick a random person who has the last word. And it's a random person. It's going to be Cyborg. Cyborg, give us the last word so I can end this thing.
You're walking on eggshells. Be careful.